Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the second installment of Talking Top Tens. Thank you for being a exclusive member. Of course, this is original content, so we are here talking about our top 10 influential games. I have with me Random this time, and we just have a passion for gaming, and we wanted to do this like I told you guys in the previous episode. This isn't really a debate show. This is just two people just coming together and just talking about something that they care about and they're passionate about. So, with that being said, Random, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm honored that you chose me for the video game portion of this. The music your music conversation with Miles was fascinating cuz me I'm based at this point. I'm just a one genre guy and it's mainly R&B, but just
Okay,
hearing the
okay.
knowledge and all that, I was like, "Okay, let me tap in, cuz still got to work out, still got to stay in shape, so hopefully I can provide the same energy except this time about video games."
Definitely, definitely. And you sent me your list earlier, and I had to say W list because there's a lot of games that I really, really enjoy. You haven't seen mine, so without further ado,
Mhm.
let's just pull it up right here. Let's just get straight into the meat and potatoes of this. So this
Ooh.
is in no order. This is
Mhm.
just like we said at the beginning of the video. This is our top 10 influential games. These are games that have made an impact on our joy of gaming, on our life personally, with whatever impact that may be. Hopefully, is great. It's not in from 1 to 10. No, it's just I put them in any order, and we're just gonna talk about it. So off the top, you see something very. I will say this is one thing that both of us really, really are passionate about, and it's
Mhm.
Dynasty Warriors. And I have to say, for me, my favorite, or let me rephrase. I do think Dynasty Warriors 4 is the best in the series. To
It changed the
me,
whole game,
it
man. It
really
changed the game.
it really did. But for me,
Oh.
what Dynasty Warriors 3 did for my house, it brought me and my brother into gaming, into Asian culture, so many things like seeing Gan Ning for the first time, like
Mhm.
that that stuck with me. Zhao Yun just for the first time in the opening credit scene, like I needed to get this game. Dynasty Warriors is one of my favorite franchises in gaming history. The game's amazing, fantastic. Dynasty Warriors 3, the slew of characters, the graphical upgrade from Dynasty Warriors 1, which was a fighting game, and part 2.
Mhm.
That is why I put Dynasty Warriors 3 because for me personally, it had just a bigger impact. I do think 4 is a better game overall, but 3 was the one that for me just started me on the journey of Dynasty Warriors. Talk to me about Dynasty Warriors 4.
I see whenever we have conversations cuz I'm in the Dynasty Warriors subreddit on I'm over there just always kind of seeing, but I think it all depends on who what game introduced you to the franchise. I was introduced to the franchise before, and then I mean, 4 and 3 are if I have two PlayStation 2 games I still play, it's 4 and 3. Like probably if I'm being honest, I'll probably play 3 a little bit more because I still gotta get some of those fourth weapons for some of the characters. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it's like Zushu,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
like, but I love 4 because like have I played video games before that? Yeah, but like when I saw 4 for the first time was like everything with gaming changed. At that point, I think the biggest game I had played was it was a Nintendo 64 game that I was like it's like this tall box and the two fighters fight on top of the box, and if you get knocked out, it's a ring. I can't remember the name. I still the crazy part I have the cartridge over here, but I'm not getting up. But Dynasty Wars 4 was for me like how I got into the game. It literally opened like a whole new genre for me. At that point, I was still trying to learn how to speak English. And it's like
Okay.
to say that a game helped me learn how to speak. Like, you have factors, and I've told little factors in there. This game literally helped me. I love this game so much. I literally used it for a school project when I was in middle school.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and for it was a history, project, and we got to pick somebody from Asia, right? And I was like, oh, I got like three people off top. And then so it was like my excuse to bring my PlayStation 2 from home to school. And in class, while we're writing our projects, we're of course we start the game up
Mhm.
and we go to the encyclopedia, which, by the way, this was a horrible idea. That they're not really that accurate.
Not at
Like,
all.
it's not at all. Not until like maybe 7, once
Mhm.
they really start locking it down. They're not accurate at all. So, Mr. Rosenthal, I'm sorry. Because Dynasty Wars 4 was capping to me, and then I capped to you and the rest of the class, and I got an A on that project. But that's how
Hey,
much
we
Dynasty
take
Wars 4, yeah,
we t-
it means
we
to me.
we take those. We take those A's even though it's not
Yes.
accurate.
Yes, and like I played 4, beat 4, then I went back to 3, and then I
Okay.
followed the franchise forward. And as much as I love 3, I think 3 is the best combination. Like, when you beat 1,000 people in the stage, like, you earned it, man. Like, your thumbs low key kind of hurt.
Mhm.
Like, and but 4 was just like you could duel. The horses weren't complete crap. um Obviously the different stages, like, I think Chirby in 4 is the best version of Chirby. It's the best version of it, in my opinion.
I
And
can agree. Okay.
and
I,
also maybe the hardest stage in Dynasty Wars history, the Namon campaign.
annoying. It's just a so
It's
it's just so
so
goddamn annoying.
it's a slog. Like, Santo, if somebody said, all right, you got to play that campaign, and I'm like, I need a friend. I'm not doing this by myself. Like, doing that, playing that stage by yourself with one character. I'm
And
always like the ruler, first of all, because I don't want to be pushing down and then Zhuge Liang gets caught and now I got to
mhm.
run back. No, so I'm Liu Bei and I'm running around because if all else fails, I'll make it through the stage.
Oh,
I'll
and
make it.
and don't even get me started on that being on hard mode because
Oh my god.
it is it is literally a test of you grinding in the game. Like if you have not grinded the Nanman campaign with all the poison, Mengwo just pops up, then Shurong pops up. It's 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 not for the faint of heart. You literally have to put in hours into that game just to do that
I
one campaign.
absolutely, I feel like I have to like pause. So the Nanman campaign is basically your forces, you're going down to basically subjugate these tribal people, right? And the reason why the stage is so hard is that over time, the your army loses morale and their army gains morale, like,
Mhm.
periodically over time. So basically your army fights worse. So you have to keep raising your army's morale so their army can literally fight without you for stretches,
Mhm.
but it's possibly being knocked down. Then you see the armor troops from Wu Tugu.
Yep.
And I don't why does it take so long for the fire attack to happen?
I mean, game mechanics, sure, but I mean, if you're putting it in layman's terms, maybe it's because people don't have the lay of the land, fear, guerrilla tactics from the non-man troops. It's yeah.
But even in the stage, like, it takes so long. Bro, I'm in the spot blocking. Like, I'm in the spot blocking. I gotta I gotta Jugelion just launch a fire attack. These troops are done because they're incredibly, like, the armored troops have massively increased defense. Then you hit the Jurong with her troops and the elephant, and you duel her. Then you get to the poison, and then you finally get to the castle. And remember, the whole time the enemy commander is just popping up at random different places and attacking parts of your army. Now
Mhm.
the stage is fair though, right? Especially if you do it in the Muso mode, where if you take care of the other ones, so you don't have to worry about your main forces leaving, right? You take care of that fight. If you do something really quickly, like you beat Menghuo really quickly, really fast, two enemies defect, so they come to your side. So the game does try to be fair, but like if you're
No,
not prepared,
you ain't surviving. You're not making it.
you're not making it through that stage. And I the challenge of that stage was amazing. Like it's like you see Lubu at Hulao Gate, and then like the Nanman campaigns right behind it.
Hmm.
Because you could be maxed out at Hulao Gate, and that duel is still the toughest thing you about to do today, like
Oh
video
yeah.
game wise.
And especially since it's so early on, like you are
Mm-hmm.
completely under level. They're just gonna tell you,
Under
"Hey,
level.
run." Just see him run the opposite direction. But of course, we think we're him. We go straight into it. We die a couple times, sure, and it takes us maybe 2.5 hours to beat him. But hey, we got through it. We take those.
That's the first instance of Dark Souls right there for us.
Hell yeah!
Because even
So
in 3, when you meet him, he's tough.
he's
And
tough.
he
Yeah.
like remember that freaking move that he stomps the ground and like a shockwave
Mm-hmm.
pops out, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, he's gotten a lot easier, which is a shame.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. It's not
in
the same.
nine in nine it I nine I thought it was pretty good in terms of difficulty. The problem is
His voice acting
nine's combat system was crap,
and his voice
absolute
acting
crap.
is dog. His voice acting is
Nah,
just straight.
I couldn't. I had to do it in Chinese. I couldn't do it in. They
uh,
sold. They freaking sold on the voice. Like a bigger franchise gets killed for this.
Mm-hmm.
But
I completely agree. Well,
mhm,
that's our quick recap on Dynasty Wars. As you can tell, that we really enjoy this
love it.
franchise. So, but
Oh,
Rand, oh, go ahead, go
oh,
ahead,
real
go ahead.
quick. Sorry. I also Dynasty Wars has a movie, and I basically did a review of it and told you about why, basically a little bit more about how I fell in love with the franchise. But like Sancho, I'm pretty sure you've seen it, right?
Mhm.
And it was just like the movie. The movie was exactly what I wanted it to be, except for Guan Yu. Why can't nobody get that right? He's an accomplished actor, but bro, give him some muscles or something, bro. He needed to be a mountain of a dude, and he wasn't, and that really bothered me.
Mhm.
Everybody else was pretty good.
Yeah, everybody was solid, but I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's like when you think Wonder Woman, you think this Amazoness, and you get Gal Gadot. Like, she needs some
Okay,
muscle. He needs some muscle too. But that's
like
another tangent.
yeah, but just add the stuff, man. You know what I mean? That's why they pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars in the editing thing. Add the stuff, like
Bruh.
juice her up a little bit, or juice Guan Yu up a little bit. But
Meh.
the movie was like,
S- CGI
this is
stare
exactly what I want.
CGI
That's what I remember.
CGI steroids are crazy, bro.
What basically copying Seven as they're fighting down the waters at the waterfall, and I was
Hmm.
like, "This is exactly what I wanted." Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want a serious story for real. I just needed to be like, "Yeah, these people are superhuman, and this is bullshit that you're watching." I'm sorry for cussing.
Oh, no, no, you're good. You're good. This is going on the members only, so they already are accustomed to this.
Yeah, but like it was perfect, man. It was such a like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is never gonna get a sequel. Like
Mm-mm.
this is
It is what it is. It's just a movie, great visuals, and just watch it and enjoy it. Don't over critique it. Nah, you know what you're here for.
yeah.
So moving on to we're gonna go to randoms list. I see that you put Mass Effect 3.
Mhm.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me.
All right. So look, I think y'all went too hard about the ending.
Bruh.
Y'all went too hard about the like. That I'm not
Not
saying that it was good. I'm not saying that.
talk
I'm not
about it.
saying that. But y'all treated the Mass Effect 3 ending worse than a lot of games that I could be nasty to say a lot of games that come out now, but a lot of games that have done worse in like the last couple years after Mass Effect 3. Now, look, let me before I get into that, Mass Effect 3 was in my introduction to the franchise. So I
Okay.
legitimately I beat the game 4 times to get the great ending. Because you
Okay.
know how everything washes
Mhm.
back because I never went down. So Mass Effect 3 is great. It's a great game. It's like 85% great game. Low key, this could be in some very high talks.
Mhm.
In some very high talks. Now, are there plot holes? Yeah, indoctrination theory, which like it was so good that I think the writers were so mad they didn't come up with it that they just outright debunked it. When I'm like, you could say he's indoctrinated, you know? But
Mhm.
it's great. Like I romanced Holly. Like it was great. It's just a great game, and unfortunately, the ending really hurts it. And it's the first time like I saw the dark side of video games for me. Was like everybody was pissed. Like at that point, all I really been playing was Dynasty Warriors, Rome
Okay.
Total War. Like I haven't really waded into the video game like waters. And then when I saw Mass Effect 3, like obviously I saw the trailers and I was like, Mom, like, let me get this game. And my mom was like, what about the first two? I don't care. Like, we don't need to worry about those. I need to get this game. And she bought it for me. And I loved every second of it. Like, sure, it was tough because I'm like, I'm clearly missing a lot of the story here about why these people trust Shepard as much as they do. But it was a great game. The visuals are great. The combat was great. And I love it. Like, I know people still to this day be like, but the ending, which by the way, they fixed in free
Mhm.
DLC. Was it perfect? No, they still, but I think with the mods now and everything, like Mass Effect 3 could be anything you want it to be. And it's magnificent. And obviously going from 3 then going back to rest Mass Effect is one of my like I talk about series that I love in fiction. Mass Effect is one of them. It's like
Mhm.
Mass Effect, Dragon Age. Like I'm talking whether it's a book, it's a TV show, it's anime, it's something you saw on the street. Mass Effect is one of them. I think it's a perfect, realistic, in a way, sci-fi thing. That's why they're probably having a hard time because they've heard about them making it a show. So let
Mhm.
me back up and be in the shot. But they've they can't do it. It's too good because they're gonna mess it up. Where do you stop the first season? Like a lot of things that Mass Effect and the way people get mad about things that they love. Sorry, Sandra, because I know I'm dragging,
No, no, no. Go,
but
go, go. I'm
yeah,
listening.
but like if they messed up Mass Effect, the way Lonnie's like, I'll burn somebody if they ruin Tokyo Ghoul again. That'll be me. Like Mass Effect is great. It's great, even though there are some clear things they wanted you to get with Liara. That's what they
Mhm.
wanted you to get with
Yeah.
Santo, and I said no. She's a better older sister, like homegirl who's always gonna have my back than my girl. Like I dated Jack before her, and Jack was toxic. Jack was toxic, man. We was toxic, and Jack was a lot of fun. When, but like I say that because like there's so many iconic moments from the series. When you meet Saren in Mass Effect 1, iconic.
Yes.
Iconic. All right. The suicide mission in Mass Effect 2, iconic.
Mhm.
Like it's so good. Vilgar tried to copy it. Vilgar did, which by the way, is
That's
a reason
another
why
video. That's
that's a
another
whole nother
video.
video. But like I could talk all day about Mass Effect. It's a great game. Sure, the original ending's bad, but they made attempts to fix it. And with what the fans have done now with modding it and all that, and I know I'm not going to give the game credit for that because that's the fans putting in the work.
Mhm.
But like it's great. Like it's literally. I wish when I build my PC, the first game I'm probably going to play on it is Mass Effect. I'm probably just going to run through the franchise, and and I know with all the mods and the things I've seen, like I have like a mod list ready of things I'm going to get. I'm going to love every second. I'm going to come out for air, and you guys are going to be like, "Bro, you got to finish Naruto." And I was like, "Mass Effect, man. I'm on 3. I'm fighting the Reapers right now, But it's 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 a great game. It should be one of the greatest games of all time, but the ending will always kill it.
I was just about to say that. Um, I'm surprised you went with. I mean, I guess I understand now why you put Mass Effect 3 because that was the one that you first played. I say
Mhm.
Mass Effect 2 is
It's great.
it's a perfect game. It's literally a perfect game from beginning to end. Introduction of new characters, relationships with the characters, villains, world building, story, everything. If you're looking for a perfect third person shooter, which I love, I can't do first person shooters. I'm terrible at them.
I'm trash. I'm trash at them.
But at third person, I combat system, weapon upgrades, game mechanics, everything. Mass Effect 2 is perfect. Mass Effect 3, and I agree with you. Yes, it does get killed. I say rightfully so. That ending is atrocious. It literally derailed what might have been one of a top 10 gaming franchises because of the bad ending. I try not to give, let me not say that. I don't give studios passes for trying to fix an ending. Like, no, if that's what you're gonna do, do it right the first time. Because you have time to edit and fix it, rewrite, whatever you have to do, just get it right. Don't force people to, because at times people don't have the space for DLC. Sometimes they make you pay for DLC and stuff like that. And I'm not a fan of that aspect of the the gaming world in from the studios. But with all that being said, like Mass Effect's it's it's amazing. Like literally everything. This can be a show. I have a little bit more faith because The Last of Us, I thought they were going to ruin it, and that show is cooking. I can see something where they can make a movie. It have to be a multiple movie project. But I mean, I have faith that some studio can pick it up and give and do it justice. I mean,
They're gonna make Pedro Pascal Shepherd, and you know it.
no, they're not. Nah, they're not, bro.
Okay, the prop.
Pedro can only be in so much things, bro.
Tell me, you're telling me he'd be a bad shepherd?
He would be a bad shepherd.
What? First, that's another reason why. How do you characterize shepherd? My shepherd was a fuck. He was a sarcastic fuck. All right. But hey, he always talked to the people he was closest with, right? But when I'm like on Omega and the Vort just starts slipping off, yeah, he's getting a fucking slug to the fucking leg. Walk that off, ho. Like, don't talk to me like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I flirt with Arya every chance I get. Santo, you see her every time.
I mean,
Yeah, I got her to make out with me at the end of the Omega DLC Mass Effect 3. That was work I was putting in. Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we went back and we replayed. We developed different relationships with multiple people. I mean,
No,
we just
Tali will
we needed to.
understand, Santo. Tali will understand. Okay? That's Ari. Let me stop. Let me stop. Like, because we could
That's a
go
whole
ahead, go ahead, because
that's another video.
the Tali Photoshop when I finally like got okay, we Gucci. And that Photoshop where I'm like, is
Bruh.
that what her face looked like? And then the next day somebody like found the actual picture on Google. Did they even pay the lady whose picture that they took to make
Um,
they cleaned it up in the by the way, shout out to the Ultimate Edition or whatever they call it. The Legendary
mm,
Edition, where they
okay.
cleaned everything up. And we need to talk about this, even though it's not the jump from Mass Effect 1 to 2 is basically the jump from Dynasty Wars 3 to 4. The game's completely different.
I I can agree with that because I remember playing it and feeling like, oh, this is different. Like this
Mhm.
is this is oh, we're moving forward, not just in the video game itself, but also in gaming. Like the
Mhm.
weapon controls, just the different little up the attention to detail on weapon upgrades or abilities. Like it's fantastic. It truly is a great game.
By the way, shout out to Gears of War for inspiring the cover mechanics for 2.
Yeah, I
I mean,
always
everybody was doing it,
I,
but
I
like,
I was one that always said, even from Mass Effect 1, it's better
mhm.
than Gears of War. It's leaps and
Nah,
bounds better.
I can't say that.
I
I
I
understand. I don't. We both don't. I can't. If we're talking, oh, if we're talking narrative, absolutely. But if we're
mhm.
talking just as a game, mm,
I mean, as a game, honestly, the one thing that I would say Gears of War does better is maybe because the camera is a little bit more zoomed out, so you get a better POV, and also the melee attacks. Other than that, I give it to Mass Effect.
well, I mean, the biotics in Mass Effect. By the way, biotics in Mass Effect 1 were cheat codes. That's why I never played with them.
Oh,
They
I
make the
played with
game
all
too
of
easy.
them.
So I'm
We
always a
here.
soldier, but combat in 1 is bad. Combat in 1 is bad.
I wouldn't say bad. I would just say it's
Dynasty Wars 3
okay.
combat's better. I mean, sure, sure. I think it's bad, and that's why 2 is I mean, that's why 2 is literally talked about as one of the greatest games of all time.
Mhm.
Um, shout out to the whatever the M80 Kane, which just solved all my big boss problems in one shot.
Yes,
And that's
sir.
why they put it back in 3, Santo, because it's that nice. People are talking about it. But I think the one thing I loved about Mass Effect, and this used to be early Bioware, was all your decisions mattering.
Yes.
So obviously in 3, there were just some, like, for instance, I never saved the Arachnite Queen until I got all 3 games, right? I never, like, why would I give up these people and this dude who's great? Because if Grunt doesn't survive, you basically get like a Shepherd fanboy as the new leader of
Mhm.
that of Arlac company, and that dude glazes you up, like, full glaze. And I'm like, all right, man, I don't know who this person is. This seems like a trap. So I'm just gonna rescue the Krogan because they're glazing me up. And I'm like, all right, bro. So we save the Krogan every time. I used to always pick the what do you call it? The what's Tali's race again?
Shit.
Um
I'll look it up for you. Go ahead.
I used to always save Tali's race when they fight the Geth, right?
Mhm.
And then and then um and then I always lie to Reeve in Tuchanka because I'm like, oh, this guy can't lead. So I understand I'm saving Arlec company, but I'm also I doomed the Krogan race because still I just couldn't make those choices. And obviously, once you go through the series, you can make a lot of things, which and it just really made it pay off in 3 that, like, all these choices that you're making, like rescuing the Krogan from the genophage, you've seen them struggle. They finally have the right leader in Rex,
Mhm.
and you're
Rex is the
taking out all
goat.
this. Rex is awesome.
Rex is the goat
Oh,
from day
Rex
one.
is awesome.
By the way,
And the guy
it's the Quarian race.
Quarians. I don't know why I was going to say Florians for some reason. The Quarians, right? And you get to make these big things, like your shepherd over the course of 2 games becomes this, not just like at one point, especially once they added the biotic
Mhm.
explosions and things in 3, your shepherd at that point is so known in the galaxy that you're allowed to make these big decisions. And they really, and when you get to Earth, and in a way, even though once you get to Earth, you immediately see the problems with the ending. Because I'm like, y'all couldn't have made like a real CGI quick thing of like a Hanar shooting with the gun on its back. Y'all talk about it. Let me just see it real quick, right? But when you get to Earth and you have finally all your forces. Like, yeah, that random side trip you took to Grissom Academy, and oh, Jack, you're here. What's
Mhm.
going on, baby? Now she's there, and like you get to. They really did their hardest to like really pay it off. But what's known is that after two ended, EA gave them a ridiculously quick turnaround time to make three. And for what they've done, for three, they did a really good job because obviously they start writing the game while the second one's in
Mhm.
production. But they did a really good job. But there are things that were missing that if they had more time, like we always know about the crunch between Halo Two or Halo One and Halo Two,
Mhm.
where they gave them a year to do it.
Yeah.
Like so, it's the same thing for Mass Effect Three. And I don't sit there like, why are you EA? Why are you trying to rush this? People will wait. Dragon Age just started, right? Dragon Age Origins just dropped. So you have time. And they didn't if they gave Mass Effect, let's just say another year, Mass Effect 3 is one of the greatest games we've ever played.
I mean, it's a really good game. The only thing that really holds it back is its ending. I mean, I do understand regarding studio time and production time. Um, they are given windows, and unfortunately, they do have to meet those times because new
Mhm.
projects are coming down the line pretty much. So yeah, I mean, I see how that affected the game, but it's still a very very good game. The ending, sure, but that's the only knock it really has. With that being said, moving on.
Sorry, we could talk. We even talk about the DLCs or the house party. With you throw it all the straight up fan service they gave you for
Hey,
free. By the way,
hey,
oh,
we,
Mass Effect 3 cooks all the time.
we were gooning as kids. We were gooning, straight goons.
Yeah.
So I put here the first game I ever played
Hmm.
was Super Mario 3 for the Nintendo.
Hmm.
The If it's not registering in your cartridge, you take it out, you take a Q-tip, some alcohol, you wipe it down, even though on the back of the cartridge it says do not insert anything in there. Nah, it worked. You blow extra hard, you put it in, and here
Yeah,
comes
you
Mario.
definitely weren't supposed to blow in the
Oh, no, oh,
cartridges.
definitely not. No.
Mm. Yeah.
But this game is what introduced me to gaming. Um,
Mhm.
I remember this is one of the few memories I have with my dad. He bought me this, and I was like, "What is this?" As a kid, because I mean, we were poor. We were poor. We really didn't have much of anything. I really didn't have TV like that, so I didn't see what was going on, what's popping, nothing. So he came home with this little gray electronic device, whatever. We plug it in, and Super Mario comes out. And I have A and B, select start, up, down, left, right. That's it. It's just a square box with some buttons. And
Mhm.
I put in so much time with this game. I fell in love with gaming because of this game. I didn't know how big Mario was. I didn't know who the characters were. I was like, okay, I guess they have their own different language because when they were talking, Toad is just like screaming. Um, Bowser is Mr. Take Your Girl, regardless. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just stepping on people and trying to get my chick back. Uh, I, I, I up to this day at times I just pick it up, play it. It's always a good time. Mario never gets old. It is what it is. It does what it does. It's a jump simulator, and it's great.
I mean, I played a little bit of Super Mario 3, but it's also considered one of the best games ever. People say that's the best Mario game, like at least of the older generation, right?
Hmm.
And like now look, older games are notoriously difficult.
Hmm.
notoriously difficult. And I think that's what I liked about playing older games. Now, I think ironically, I just gravitated to the original because I'm like, might as well see where it all started. And that game cannot care about you, even though it's whatever. It's cool. It's always cool to see how somebody gets involved in. Like I told you, Dynasty. Like the first game I ever played. Jesus Christ, what was it? But it shows how even though I played a lot earlier than Dynasty Wars 4, like I was
Hmm.
never like, and then you see that one game and you're like, this is it. The same way you described 3 was the same way I was 4. Like I like you play till you feels like your fingers are about to
Oh
bleed and
yeah.
you do everything you can. So that's awesome. That's really cool to learn that Super Mario 3 was the one. Is at least you started off with like a really good game. Like what if all of us started like Dynasty Wars with like Dynasty Wars 2? That
Oof.
game's brutal.
It's
That game's brutal.
I don't even like. I loved the franchise. One and two, I never go back to.
I've never
Ne-
played one. Never
it's
played it.
it's a terrible fighting game. Don't even. It's not even worth it.
No, I have two, but I'm like, I'll get
The-
through like the Yellow Term Rebellion and be like, oh geez, let
nah,
me take a break.
it's not. The mechanic. Like I don't like when a game is hard because of the mechanics, and
Mhm.
that's what the game is. But yeah, this was my introduction to game. And yes, people do say Super Mario World with Yoshi is iconic. This one is iconic to me because, like I said, this was my introduction to gaming. So
Mhm.
moving on, God of War, PS4. Talk about it.
So when I played God of War 4 was it was basically the system that got me, or it's basically the game that got me to buy a PS4. So at that
Okay.
point, I think everybody our age, Santo, played the God of Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only played the mainline ones, the PlayStation ones, but even at the end, I was like I was tired. Like I'm just like, he's still angry, and it's not like his anger is not justified. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
keeps holding him, and
One
he's
hundred
like, "All right,
percent.
bet Gaia." He's literally helping you climb Mount Olympus. What you mean you was why are you telling him now that he was just a pawn? No wonder. And God of War 4 was such a breath of fresh air. Like I missed the announcement. I missed like a lot of the stuff, and I just remember seeing a commercial. And at that point, I was like, I'm thinking about getting one. I'm thinking about getting a PS4. And I said, what? Kratos is back? And I saw one trailer and I was locked in. I was at the store pre-ordering God of War 4 and a PS4. And it's one of the best stories I've ever experienced. Watching
How did you feel about Kratos's redesign?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. And at that point, it makes sense to me because this isn't like God of War 3 just happened and then God of War 4 started. There's clearly been a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
that between and obviously I was more partial to the original voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot more than the guy we have now, but it's not like the guy who's doing Kratos now is not. He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great. And the when you kind of this is the one of the first games where I was like, I need to watch behind the scenes. Let me just understand how they made this game. And seeing the struggles that like the guy who did Kratos had, like to kind of relate. And then he had to form this great relationship with the people around him. And they really show that in the game. Like the Boulder boss fight is one of the
Mm-hmm.
best boss fights of all time. And all it really is Kratos getting his ass kicked for the beginning part of it. And at least I guess I'll say that for me. I can't speak for the consensus, but the
Mm-hmm.
Boulder fight, like I'll play the game now just to go through that fight again. It's so good. And I know it's mainly like if there's set pieces and things, and even after you crack Boulder's neck, you throw him down the cliff. If you hard drive it, you free
Mm-hmm.
roam it. It's like flipping you off as he's falling into the abyss.
Oh, that's funny. I never paid attention to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's amazing. It's just an amazing game. one of the best video game stories out there. I'll say that for anybody. Like, and all it is just like it's a father and son just trying to fulfill the mom's last wish. And
Mhm.
I think even the enemies from the game, like I feel bad for Thor's sons. I feel bad for both of them. It's especially now that I know how God of War
Keep going,
the
random. Keep
second
going.
Ragnarok is. I just felt really bad for them because they just like Thor didn't care about them, and that bothers me. Like he didn't care about them the way I would expect a father to do it, and it's just it's just what happened. Um, and even the fact that sure you get to learn a little bit about how he felt in Ragnarok, it just never hit for me. I think the portrayal of Atreus, one of the best child video game acting. Actually, you know what? Maybe you could just say the best. Um, Atreus being one of the best child performances I've ever seen. Like he was great, and even that little part where you tell him that he's a god, Santo, and he
Okay.
just starts
You
being
don't.
a little talk about Atreus. He just starts being a little
Yeah.
fuck. Like he stops listening to you and he's talking back, and Kratos gotta like listen, motherfucker.
Hmm.
I'm your dad, and just had that dad talk with him where I was like when Kratos was holding him and talking to him, I put the controller down. I was like you did, hey, Atreus, you did this, and the fact that the game is shot like this one continuous shot, like if you
Hmm.
never die, it's just this
Yeah.
one continuous shot, and it's amazing. It's so good. The new mechanics are good. When the blades of chaos come back, it's good. Like it, the Athena being used in there is good. Like everything's good. Everything's great. It's like the way you feel about Mass Effect 2, that's how I feel about God of War 4. It's a perfect game.
Okay.
It's a
I mean,
perfect game from start to
cause,
finish.
cause I think personally, what made this God of War different from all the other ones. I mean, yes, Kratos is an amazing character. A lot
Mhm.
of the world of God of War is pretty cool. I don't think it's as dynamic or as deep as other games, but it's really cool. But the main focus is Kratos. I think what this game did was kind of shift to side characters. I think I think the boy brings such a different dynamic to Kratos that we never expected. Like nobody in their right mind thought of Kratos as a dad or
Like, yeah, sure, he had a daughter, but we never got to see him really be a
mm-mm,
father.
mhm,
And even the one time we kind of did, he was pushing his daughter away so he could save the world from Persephone.
yeah.
So it's like he never really got a chance to be. We never got to see it. So watching him struggle was amazing.
Like
Like I feel like go
you
ahead,
saw
sorry.
no, you saw him s- be like I call it like Kratos in this game was emotionally awkward.
Mhm.
Like at times he had no like he was just being him, but even you would see him be like just awkward, like don't even know like what to do or what to say. Like there would be like moments of like pauses when he's very direct in his in what he says, and he's always like very confident and whatnot. But at times when he was speaking, it was like there would just be like little instances of like a pause in his voice, and you would just be like, oh, he really is figuring this out as we go through the story, which that was one of my favorite things about the new games, about the new direction that they were going.
Mhm. So I think so ironically, the original creator of God of War, like the first three, he hates the new direction. I think and I sat there, I was like, because he didn't want Kratos to feel emotions and things like that. And I was like, why? He can only be angry for so long.
Yeah.
Like the reason why he was angry against the Greek gods was understandable. Absolutely. Not
Mhm.
just the fact that they Ares tricked him into killing his family. It was
Hmm.
the fact that Athena betrayed him. And at that point, because they never try to fix the original problem. Sure, now Kratos is a god of war. Y'all better talk to him. Athena, you better talk to him. Because of course he's just going to be what he is in God of War 2, where he's just his Spartan army's just running around Greece destroying everything, right? So it makes sense. Like they and like in 4, it's like you meet like the best way I can describe it, like he's so experienced. Like he's experienced so much and he's just doing it the way that he was taught, right? And or he's doing it the way that he grew up with a little bit of a Spartan way and things like that. And but you know deep down all he wants to do is protect his kid. And that's you learn that
Yeah.
very quickly. That all he wants to do is he'll do whatever it takes to not make sure that Atreus gets in trouble. And he
Hmm.
had to like learn to kind of let go a little bit, right? We gotta let him be his own thing. And he gets to see what happens when you don't let go in Freya and Balder. He immediately gets to see it. Because Freya never let go. And
Hmm.
Balder paid the price for it.
Yeah.
What
It's
a
great.
game, man.
It's
What a
great.
game.
You see, and this is, and I know this is gonna be like not a hot take, but people are going to pretty much crush me for saying stuff like this. Um, Enough with the reboots and the remakes. And I know video game movies have gotten bad adaptations. If they just do what the directors or what HBO is doing with Last of Us, stay faithful to the script. You don't need to add anything. You don't need to be creative or whatnot. No, plagiarize everything from the game. God of War would be a great series.
John Cena should be Kratos. Not John Cena, sorry. Dave Batista should be Kratos.
I'm not mad at that one bit. I
See what
mean,
I mean?
I'm not mad at
Keep keep The Rock as far away from this as fucking possible.
facts.
How dare
Facts.
you? How dare you make that trash movie with J.K. Simmons? How dare you? You put Captain America and fucking Omni Man in that movie, and it was trash. The Rock's cooked.
I agree.
You're Vin Diesel's little brother until further notice. You're cooked, bro. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this. Get off the steroids. If you're not gonna do nothing with it, get off the steroids, bro.
Pop off, bro. Pop off.
Come on, man. I love, bro. Chris Evans, my favorite actor out of the MCU. All right, my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Could the way Irwin got to let those scout people run to their death. Give Chris Evans the goddamn Captain America suit and the shield, and I'm following him anywhere. And that's just how. And I, you know what? How good he is, bro. Deadpool and Wolverine, amazing,
Fantastic.
amazing, fantastic. Red One, he was great. Man, every time I see The Rock in a movie, I get mad now because it's just trash. That's all you've been giving us trash for almost a decade, bro. What's the last great Rock movie? If you say Walking Tall, I'm gonna leave right now.
Best
If you say
rock.
Gridiron Gang, I'm leaving.
I mean, they're great. The term "great" is eh, what's the
Scorpion
what's
King?
no no. Um. Oh, I got one. What's the Janet Jackson was in the. Why did I get married? Too.
The one where it was like the gay security guard?
No, this is the one with at the end. I think Janet Jackson's character looks at him and it's The Rock, and he doesn't have a line. He just turns around and smile. That's the best Rock we're gonna have because he doesn't have to act. He's terrible. John Cena's better.
He was the problem is he's a feature. He was great in Fast Five. Perfect. They used him perfectly in Fast Five. You don't think so?
Well, I've never liked him as an actor. Never liked him.
Oh, I'm with you. I think Fast Five, Walking Tall, and Gridiron Gang were like this is the Rock I like to see because
I don't.
he's not trying to be the he's not trying to hog the spotlight.
I think he's doing that every time he gets on screen. But anyways, that's another video.
Yeah,
All right. So
it's Dave Batista and like one of the
Tom Hardy.
kids from Tom Hardy as Kratos would be some heat.
Give me Tom Hardy.
Ooh. No, no, no. You want to know why I say Dave Batista? Because I need to see him do a Batista bomb on like a werewolf. I just need to see it.
That'd be insane. I mean, but Batista has lost a lot of weight. Like, have you seen him lately?
I thought that was for like a role.
Nah, he's done looking like that. He changed his diet and everything.
We'll get him a stunt double.
We'll use the CGI steroids.
Yeah, man, that's fine. Boom. Think
So
about it, bro. He's fighting like right before he fights the dragon with this random group of werewolves after you leave Sindri, and one of them tries to get Atreus and he just grabs it, right on like the side of a cliff, and he falls off. Like the werewolf falls off, and you're like, that was awesome. Like the perfect one to where he puts him between his, this gonna sound crazy. He puts him between his legs, and Atreus is like, "What's happening?" And I'm like, me and you are like, "He's doing it. He's doing it." Like,
he's doing the thing. He's doing the thing.
and he just hits him, and I'm like, I'm in the theater like, yes.
No, I think that would be a dope character. But we do have to move on. By the way, great game. It's a great game.
Great game.
So move into the next one. I placed on my list the original Resident Evil 4. So I'm a Leon fan. I think he is the the best character in the whole Resident Evil franchise. Um, we recently got the remake. Great remake. One of
Mm-hmm.
the best remakes of all time. But we're talking influential. They were Spanish, bro. Like when you're just walking around and he said "matenlo," I was like, wait, huh? Oh, oh, they're Spanish in the game. Okay, so I'm like, you already sold me a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But when you just have Leon just being just a absolute goat while still being a cornball. It's like the game is cheesy, which I love about the game because the game is great villains, Sadler, just great villains, but also it doesn't take itself seriously. Like there is literally a part in the game where there is a throne. I think it's Salazar's throne, and you can sit on it, and he just crosses his legs, and there's a line of text that's I think it says, "I shouldn't be doing this. We have other things to do." Like little things like that when a game is great but also doesn't take itself too seriously makes a game just that much more fun, that much more just enjoyable. Great replayability because when you go back just to get like the different weapons, the Chicago typewriter, the one shot, the infinite bazooka when you just go murking people. There has I can't remember the laser gun. There's a magnum with infinite bullets that just I think 3 bullets kill everybody. The game is it has really good. I wouldn't say the game is scary, but it has very tense moments. I remember going down a hallway, and there's a spot where there's this creature, and you have to hit him with some cryo what's that liquid called? Nitrogen. You have to literally hit him with nitrogen so you can slow down, because if not, you're cooked. Like, you get decapitated like instantly from this character. Like, the game is just everything that it does. It's well, game mechanics, movement. It doesn't have the static cameras from the OG Resident Evils, which made the game a little bit scary because you couldn't really see what's going on in every corner. This took a third person shooter approach, which I love and I enjoy. And it's just a great character and a great story. Have you played this game?
Yep,
What are
I
your
beat the
thoughts?
game. It was my first Resident Evil. Ashley is fucking useless. Just like if she was like could learn how to like just stay close to Leon, half the game doesn't happen. And I'm like, she fucking sucks, man. But like the game to me was hard because of I just couldn't get the controls down. I played on the
Okay.
PlayStation 2. But what I really liked most was they put their whoever the artist was that designed the way the parasites and the monsters work. I think
Mhm.
that person should be at home smoking a cigarette, watching the money still come in because
Oh
they
yeah.
they really killed it. Like you said, Leon is he's a badass, but I'm like, who told you this is how you speak to girls? Like, Ada Wong gonna betray you, bro. Just get toxic back. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? Also, Ada, that dress does not work in this condition.
Okay.
Explain to me how you made it here in this condition. She had like heels on.
Top 10 female characters of all time, I'm just saying.
Uh, look. Look. I'm not saying she ain't look good, but
I'm
like,
just saying. The fact
how
that
did you make it through?
the mere fact that she makes it work in that dress speaks
How did
volumes,
she
bro.
make it through the zombies? Is what I'm trying to find out. I just need to see her If she pirouetted around all of them, then bet. But in terms of a game, like it's amazing. Like I haven't played the remake yet, but for everything I've heard, um, it's amazing. Like you said, it's amazing. Ironically, this game, I don't think Capcom knew which part of this game that people really liked, and just set us on the path of three really bad, really bad games.
It's confusing as heck because you're in the town, you're in the church, and you're just walking around, and all of a sudden you're on an island. You're on a military island, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Mhm.
Like, it is confusing in that aspect, but other than that, like, the game is literally, and this is not just gas from me, from the gaming community. This is one of the greatest games of all time, hands down. Like, this is one of the goats. People go back to this game and saying this game, it is one of those ones.
That's why when people started getting excited that they're remaking the games, and they've done a pretty good job. 2 was great, 3 was but 4, everything I've heard is great. They're probably gonna stop at 4 because good luck remaking 5. Like, 5
Five.
was just an action 5 was just an action game to me.
Here's the thing. Part 5 is great as a multiplayer game.
Mhm,
The art's a little janky. The art style. They went with a very interesting choice because it's like almost like dirty art. It's not
mhm.
polished. It's not polished at all. But Chris is a great character, and I can't remember what's her name, his partner.
I always forget her name.
But the game as a multiplayer game, oh, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
We don't talk about Resident Evil 6. We just don't. That game doesn't exist. Just dog water. But If they remake 5, and if they do it with, like, let's say an online co-op, that you can do a campaign with somebody online, that'd be great. That would work. Part 3 remake, it Nemesis is the best part of the game, and literally you only it's only in the beginning of the game. After you get out of the town, like, the game is absolute dog shit. It's boring. It doesn't do what the OG3 was. OG3 was literally a scary game because of Nemesis. This game,
Mhm.
it took an action game approach. The camera is terrible. The hospital is not great. The lizard reptiles, whatever, the plant creatures, like, it's it's just not it's a failed attempt at a remake, because the main aspect of the game, Nemesis, you hold him. You literally hold him. But yeah, if you guys haven't played part 4 of Resident Evil, I really suggest that you do, because it's literally, like I said, one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, and I'm
Now,
pretty sure you can get the original on the store, right?
I
I'm pretty sure you
I think
can.
I think you still can, yeah.
Mhm.
So now I saw Game Boy Advanced. I was like, oh, okay, okay, okay. Fire
Mhm.
Emblem. I personally haven't played any of the Fire Emblem games. I just
Oh,
haven't. I just haven't. And I will tell you why, but go ahead. Go ahead.
so Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance, ironically, it's the fifth. It's either no, it's the sixth game in the series, but they call it Fire Emblem when they moved it to the West just to clear up any confusion. It's a turn-based, like it's like turn-based. Well, depending on how bad you are, it could be turn-based Dark Souls, like permadeath, where like if your character dies, that's it. They don't come back at all. It's usually always like a knight gets kicked out or a prince gets kicked out of his kingdom. He gathers an army, and then they go back and face the kingdom and take the kingdom back and save the world. Usually from like a dragon for some reason. I don't know why it's always a dragon, but you're always killing a dragon at some point in this game. And the one for the Game Boy Advance, it was hard. It was so hard. That's what like got me to keep playing it. Like all these little things matter. Like if you put your prince next to this guy all the time, they have like support bonus. So
Okay.
like if so like Santo, me and you are fighting in this battle all the time, there's supports, right? But you can't
Hmm.
be supporting with everybody because we get different effects. So like if you're a mage and I'm a knight, I for some reason you help you give me attack power, and like it's like attack power, you get speed or something like that, a speed bonus, right? Which allows
Okay.
you to dodge more attacks as a mage. But like you can't be supporting with everybody. You can only have three supports. So now you're like, oh, I got to figure out who's the right person. If I want my
Yeah.
prince to get married, like, oh, I gotta make sure he's next to this the girl I want him to be with. Like, it's so good, um, that they're starting to get on the remake train with Fire Emblem.
Hmm.
They're already talking about remaking the fourth game in the series, the Genealogy of the Holy War, which is the hardest Fire Emblem game I've played. But it's I loved because it was hard. It's a nice, easy story to get into. Like Ephraim, his what call it, Ephraim is left at home while his dad and his country's best knights go stop some threat, but they never come back. So Ephraim says, "I'm gonna go find him," and leaves his mom in charge of the kingdom as he goes with like two people, like his two best knights, and that's how the game starts. And then you can recruit characters from your enemy from different villages and things like that. You just make an army and you go, and it's a long adventure because you got to be careful in terms of weapon. There's so much going on, and this was like my introduction into turn-based strategy, and
Hmm.
that's one of my. So it's I'm mainly a single player guy, but turn-based strategy is like my second one, and you can play this. It's really hard. I'll tell you that it's really hard because if you don't figure out the mechanics really quick, it can really punish you. But it's one of those games. Now I played every single Fire Emblem except for the first one. So I got an
Okay.
emulator when you could do that, and played all of them except for the first one. Now the last one in the series didn't do so well, which is crazy because the one before that was so well done. They literally made a Warrior spinoff of it.
Okay.
Like they call the people from Dynasty Warriors, and they
Uh-huh.
made a Warrior spinoff of the one before the last one, and it's good. Which is why I'm like, this new one is like, I played it, I was very disappointed. So now they've been talking about the remake for the fourth game, and that could be like people. That could be the Fire Emblem that hits mainstream, where you're like, Santo, you got to play it. Where I'm like telling you, I got to tell Miles to play it, because if they do it right, people are gonna be talking about it. In my opinion, it could be in the Game of the Year conversation. That's how good it could be.
Okay. Well, what the reason I haven't played it, and
Mhm,
this is why I put the game I have on my list right next to it. When I was growing up playing games, you were either a Pokemon fan or a Digimon
mhm,
fan.
mm.
You had like it was different groups like that. You were either Goku or Team Vegeta. It was you had to pick a side.
Being Team
So in
Vegeta was tough. I know that much.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, when Frieza murked him and we were crying on the ground, yeah, it was a sad day for us.
Mhm,
But in RPGs, this is the side that I picked, and I refuse to go with any other RPGs. I picked the Final Fantasy sagas,
mhm,
and Final Fantasy VII was the first RPG I ever played. It was
mm.
literally between Fire Emblem, Zelda. Up to this day, I haven't played a Zelda game because
Oh wow!
because literally I'm Team Final Fantasy.
You can
Final,
play Zelda with Final Fantasy.
I
You
mean,
can do it.
I mean, I can't, bro. That is one that I'm literally like loyal to a fault because I know that people talk about Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening. Like all of these games are fantastic, and I believe y'all when you say that. But I'm Team Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy VII is the GOAT RPG of all time. So much so that what?
I'm not going to disagree.
Okay, okay,
Final Fantasy VII is amazing.
because I was about we would have fought right here. Final Fantasy, it as its own Square Enix, Squaresoft, bow, just bow. I can't remember who wrote the game.
Mhm,
Just bow to this person. Saved y'all. This game, this IP literally keeps the company afloat.
mhm,
Main character, one of the best main characters of all time. Villains, one of the best villains of all time.
Now go even further than that, Santo. Sephiroth may have the best villain theme I've ever heard.
I'm getting to it. What
Ooh.
waifus? Because I know, yes, we are gamers and we like anime, so we're gonna talk about waifus. Tifa and Aerith,
Tifa till I die, but
uh,
everything no slouch either.
fantastic female characters. Badass characters. Barrett, fantastic.
First time in gaming I ever saw a single black father. And he was legitimately just adopted.
Facts.
And he was just like, fuck, we running a bar. I'm gonna make sure my girl gets to eat every day.
While handicapped, one arm.
And also low key committing eco terrorism, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hey, he was saving the planet, bro.
what
So
a fucking guy.
So side characters, one of the best cast of all time. Score, music, great. Literally, Sephiroth's theme should win awards.
Oh God.
The one winged angel theme is one of the greatest scores of all time.
Hmm.
Story, fantastic. This is the best RPG of all time. Like the amount of content in this one game, have in mind that you're playing the game, you're in Midgar. You're just in this town, rundown slums. You're a soldier. You're walking around. You're doing all of this. And the third plate of Midgar falls, forcing you out of Midgar. And the map opens up. And you're like, what is this?
Like
This
I just
it
spent all this time in Midgar.
and you're in like 3% of the game. You're
Oh.
like, what the hell is this? Because I mean, remember when you first got this game, I think it was for the PS1. It was a
Hmm.
PS1 or PS2, one of them. And it's 3 discs.
Hmm.
Literally, it's a 3 disc game. So you're like, oh, I'm about to get in some stuff. But you spend so much time in Midgar, when you leave, you're like, what the hell's going on? And then you get the little Bronco, and you're like, oh, I can go to different islands. Then you get the airship. I'm like, okay, I can go everywhere. There's a
Hmm.
submarine. There's underwater areas too. Like there is so much content in this game. It is insane. Not just that, but also the side quests that this game has. I think it's unmatched. When you can go chocobo racing, when you can go to the gold saucer and just play video games within a video game, like it's content heaven. This game is amazing. Yes, it is long-winded. Back in the day, we really didn't have internet to go down. We had to go get the game facts, magazines, or a friend would
I
have
still
to
got some printed out, Santo.
facts.
Like just in
Like
case I gotta go back, I got some game facts printed out.
yeah, if you didn't have a guide, or if you didn't have somebody to tell you what to do, oh, you have to mix these greens with this one to get a gold chocobo. Oh, the gold chocobo can get you to this part of the mountain to get a specific materia for Knights of the Round. What is Knights of the Round? It's 10 minutes of just summoning that just kills
Bro,
everything in one shot.
yeah, you could literally leave, go to the bathroom, go get some food, and come back, and it's still going. Like,
and that and then you figure out, okay, I got this. I'm on level 99. I'm peak. I have the Knights of the Round, everything. Let me go try fight these weapons. And you figure out that, oh, this doesn't one shot something anymore. I need to actually use tactics and skills and different little hacks that break the game to where I can do 900,000 um, damage every time I swing a sword. And it's the game's great. The game is great. Story is fantastic. Characters are fantastic. Like it is unmatched. I think it's the greatest intellectual property in RPG history, to where we're trying to find everywhere to put Cloud and Sephiroth in.
like once,
When I saw them in Smash, it was like,
mhm.
okay. Like okay.
By the way, I straight up thought Sephiroth killed Mario in that trailer. I was like, dang, bro, hey, it's a kid's game.
Mhm.
But I agree with everything you have to say. Final Fantasy VII, like you always hear about genre defining games, right? Here's here, but whatever they are, whether it's Super Mario 64 or or like Final Fantasy 7, even though ironically they were starting to kind of figure their stride by 6 was also a very good game, which is
Mhm.
unfair because 6 just pays because one of the greatest games of all time came out after it, right?
Mhm.
And they've always been kind of chasing whatever that is ever since. Whatever that 7 is, when like if you make one of these like in your company for a series, you've done well. You've done
Yeah.
fantastic. Like there's a few games, and Santo's not lying to you about the amount of content. Like the content, the way I would describe it is, even though there are many other games when you're talking about storage wise that are bigger, The Witcher 3 is like this, where you can just take a side quest and you'll be gone and things like that. And you don't see those a lot, right? And like one character in your party is completely side questy, Yuffie. You could literally
Hmm.
miss Yuffie and you'll never encounter her, and the game will go on and you'll finish it and blah blah blah. And the fact that a whole and anybody who played fucking Kingdom Hearts should know who Yuffie is. Like anytime the fact that you could just miss a whole party member is crazy. Like it's like the story's great. God, getting knights around when I finally got a Santo, like I put my controller. I didn't play the game for like 2 days. Like I just wanted to let it sink in, and then I'm gonna come back. And obviously Seth Roth and his thing, and he's just like I've always like. And what if there's like another reality where they're just cool, man. Like Seth Roth's nice with a blade, but him and Cloud are just cool. Like they're cool.
That's
Like
all.
yeah, man,
That's. I mean, that's part of the story. Like at
yeah, like
one
everybody's
point,
just fine. Like he never maybe somebody tells him earlier or he never finds out about the lab when they go to Crowd's hometown. Like
mhm,
everybody's just fine. Like that's how good they are. That's why they make such great like and like their relationship is so great. Like they'll take over other parts. Like every time you saw them in Kingdom Hearts, like you just fought Sephiroth near an inch of your life in Kingdom Hearts 2. And then Cloud come up and you're like, I could never do the stuff he's doing in this cutscene. And then by the way, they just disappear and like nobody ever talks about it in Kingdom Hearts 2. They just disappear. Tifa's like, where is he? I'm like, you just missed him. And then nobody ever talks about it again. Like even in 3, when you see them, like, hey man, like, where's Cloud at? Any questions? Cloud? No, but like they're just so good. I mean, for them to I always look at like Smash. When your character makes it to Smash, like you're immortalized in a way. Because not like when like the fact that I heard Master Chief from Halo was really considered.
mhm.
Master Chief, when you're getting I understand it seems weird because it's Smash, but like they don't just pick anybody. They don't just pick anybody, any guest characters be in that game. And like for Sephiroth and Cloud to both make it just shows you how well, like how highly regarded they are. That they're willing to like millions of people play Smash all the time. Millions of people. And they're like, we want to showcase these guys to you. And they're I mean, even the one of the best cliffhangers of all time, Santo. Or not cliffhangers, plot twist. Spoiler alert. Eric don't make it because Sephiroth just straight up murders her. And I
Bro,
fucking cried. I
I
cried.
cried. I
I
cried.
cried.
I cried. So that
Oh.
that's what I'm saying. In terms of story, it's fantastic. But one thing, because I'm a musician, and this goes back into the conversation I had with Miles.
Mhm,
Score really does affect the mood and impact of a scene.
mhm.
That lone piano when she has the materia in hand and Sephiroth stabs this woman, bro, I could not believe what I was watching. I cried. I was like, no, no, she does not
Like,
deserve this.
bruh,
No.
not her of all people. Not her. She was it's like when Sasha gets killed in Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
literally
not
like that.
it's like not her, not her. Like she deserved to make it. She deserved to make it all the way through, be back in Midgar picking her flowers and fucking selling them for like $1 or whatever the fuck she was doing. She deserves all the happiness in the world. And how they gonna
This
approach that in the I mean, I know we like five
they
parts
did.
away.
No, they did. And
They did it.
the oh, you
I've
haven't
only
played
played
the
the first part. I've only played the first part. I haven't played the second part.
do
I
you
know
want
there's like ghosts and they change the time. Spoil it because
okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna get a PS5 for Ghost of Tsushima 2, which
Mhm.
almost ironically almost made this list. And then that's where I'm gonna be like, fuck it, let me get the fucking second part and play it. So I'm gonna forget.
Listen, listen. Right now, I think it is on track to be the greatest. It's it's a remake, but whoever they are cooking with this story because it's called Final Fantasy VII Remake and
Hmm.
Rebirth.
Hmm.
But what makes it big brained is that the game is not a remake per se. It is
Hmm.
Sephiroth going back in time and remaking the OG game. So the entire time, the one question that everybody's been asking is she gonna die? Is she going to die? So all the
No, because
ghosts,
that's that. Yeah.
so all the ghosts, we call in the Final Fantasy VII area or world, we call them plot ghosts.
Hmm.
The ghosts are really there to push you to certain events or to keep you from going somewhere. It's trying to lead you. So that is pretty much Sephiroth's influence, trying to change certain events, certain timelines to where it's beneficial to him. So that's why it's called remake. So it's not the fact that it's not just a remake. No, it's literally Sephiroth talking with the players in remaking the memories that you have of the OG
So
game.
so when did he go back in time?
He has different consciousness.
Oh Jesus
Bro,
Christ!
it is
I, I'm
fire.
just
It is
annoyed because they're gonna sell me on it, and I'm just annoyed right now because I don't know the full context, but they're gonna sell me on it.
it's fantastic. It's great storytelling.
So
It's it's
so Zach living is part of his plan.
Zach living. Okay, I'm
Because
gonna
it
s- I'm,
ruins
I'm gonna
Cloud. Because it no no because it ruins Cloud because Cloud doesn't get the memories. He doesn't get the sword. So
no.
right, isn't that what happens? Am I missing something?
Zach's death pretty much sets up Cloud. Cloud becomes Zach because in the end of Crisis Core, Zach, you know that one scene that Zach's with all the soldiers and it's a fight that you just can't win. So Zach dies.
Hmm.
And Zach's big thing was literally telling Cloud, like, hey, pretty much take my place, do this, live a long life, you know, live the life that I couldn't live.
Hmm.
Zach's alive in a separate timeline in Final Fantasy VII. And the reason he's alive is not because of Sephiroth, because of Aerith. Aerith.
Hmm.
Aerith is aware of everything that's going on because Aerith has always been in tune with the live stream of Earth. So it's like yin and yang. Sephiroth is evil, Aerith is good. That's why Sephiroth has the black materia and Aerith, I want to call it Aerith, I don't know why. Aerith has holy, the white materia. So she's aware of the entire thing from day one. So she's trying her plan to stop Sephiroth. And that's the story within the story. It's literally a great M. Night Shyamalan movie. It is big brained, it is lore heavy, it is deep, it is fantastic. Aerith dies, still dies in Rebirth. But Cloud is so mentally effed up that she's alive in his head. Everybody's grieving, and Cloud is so desensitized that he's like, "Why are y'all crying?" And Aerith is there next to him, but only he can see her because he refuses to accept that she's dead. The game
Oh,
is
all right, I gotta
insane.
play this game.
The
I
game
gotta
is
play this game.
the game is
When's the next
insane.
part coming out?
Um,
Or did they stop because they got to make Kingdom Hearts 4?
well, I'm not sure, but I mean, the game is recent. I mean, it's I know it's in the works, but there's no release date yet. They haven't announced anything as of yet. We don't even know what the name is for the last one,
Hmm.
but
I mean,
it's fantastic.
I mean that. I mean, they've made movies off this game, multiple video games, probably like comic books and whatever. So they've definitely. I mean, this is one of the most iconic games of all time. It's crazy that you wouldn't play Zelda because of this, but look,
I won't.
Zelda is just a better franchise from top to bottom. They just give you quality all the time. But look, seven is the peak. Seven is the
Hmm.
peak. Seven is clearly the peak of the two. Look, I'm gonna play this because now I have so many questions because I loved the combat in the remake part in the first part. I really
Oh, and
like that.
it's so much better in Rebirth. It is so much better. Air combat is fantastic.
Hmm.
From I don't know if you played the Intergrade DLC, the Yuffie DLC. Fantastic.
Yes.
Uh, they incorporate everything from that into Rebirth. So you have joint attacks. Air combat is not janky because in the first one, air combat is terrible. It really
Hmm.
is. And a lot of things are unfinished. Like the enemy skill materia is it's pretty much I think you can only get like maybe less it's I think it's less than 10 enemy skills because I mean it's brand new, it wasn't flushed out. Now it is. It's
Hmm.
it's so good, bro. It's so good.
Hmm.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
my
I got nothing else to say. I got nothing else
that
to say.
yeah, that
You picked something great.
that's my tangent. But now we're good. Now we're getting into what my favorite genre, the FGC fighting games. That's me. I love the FGC. And you put a a one of one.
It's
This style
amazing,
of
man.
this game or this style will never be duplicated. Def Jam Fight for New York. Talk about it, random. Talk about it.
I mean, you ever wanted to see Busta Rhymes punch David Banner in the face? You can literally do it in this game. Like Def Jam is like when EA was at its best, Santo was when they were just trying stuff, you know. They were great everywhere. Madden was great. Um they're like obviously they made the first Def Jam. Even the Lord of the Rings tie-in games were great. Like everything, they were just good all the time. And Def Jam is like somebody said this in a meeting one day, and everybody laughed, and the executive's like, "Let's do it." I want you guys to think about this. All the hottest rappers of today show up, they record lines for a fighting game, and they make a game because that's what happened. Method Man, Redman, Exhibit, Ice T, David Banner, Bone Crusher, Nor, Sean Paul, Lil Kim, um,
Carmen
Carmen
Electra,
Electra.
Elephant
Carmen
Man,
Electra, why was she
Ludacris,
there? But it don't matter. She was bad. Like, it was just great, and it was a really good continuation from the first game.
Hmm.
and like it starts off right after the first game ends, and Snoop Dogg's the main bad guy in the game. The Fat Joe fight is like, yeah, you've been learning. Yeah, sure, you beat up that one dude to get with the first girl, before you might, unless it's Little Kim, but every other girl, you stay with them until the Carmen Electra shows up, and then you switch to Carmen Electra, and that's okay. And that's okay, because I get it. But like all these things, and it's like this gritty hip hop inspired like fighting adventure story where you create your guy, have- and you start like going into New York, and you're just fighting, bro. Like I'd watch the story. The story's cliche as hell in a way. Like, of course, they take your girl, so you got to go to the other side and you fight and all this. But like, it's really good. It's such a good game. The fighting mechanics were really good. um Crazy Legs is my dude. Like, if you beat my Crazy Legs, then you're a good player. Because I love Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs is my favorite character in the game. Ice T's nice too, because Ice T could like snap your neck if he catches you the right way. But like,
Hmm.
it's just it's just a really good game, and all the things you could do. Like, Danny Trejo's in it. You technically murder him when you throw him in front of a moving train, but he was going to shoot you, so you had to do it right. Um, it's just it's such a unique game that, like Santos said, it's never going to be made again, which is a shame, because like if they did it now with like Drake, like the clear storyline is Drake versus Kendrick. It's just there, like all the different guys you'd want to do, like Kendrick, J. Cole, Kanye, Jay-Z, like all these things you could bring out. But first things first, gonna cost too much money. And Drake's I'll say Drake right now. Drake's gonna be like, I'm not losing the fight. It's gonna turn into like Hulk Hogan ish stuff, and this is a fake video game. And I'm like, it's a shame, because this Def Jam could sell. It could sell right now. Like, you make the fourth game, because we don't ever talk about Icon
We
though.
don't
Nobody ever
we
talks
don't
about
we
Icon.
don't talk about Icon. Nope.
But like, you can make it today with all the actors now, and people, Drake fans, finally like, I'm gonna beat Kendrick's ass. Finally get some get back for Drake. Or you could have Lil Yachty and Lil Uzi Vert square up. Like, it's such a unique game that I'm like, it's a shame they'll never be done again, because this is just like really smart thinking. And I can only imagine the amount of work it took to get everybody involved, because this isn't like you're getting no name actors. You're getting some of the best. You get some of the best rappers of the day. Busta Rhymes, Exhibit, Ice T, like Method and Redman, like go, like these are legends in the game that come out. Snoop Dogg show up and be a villain. Danny Trejo, like Fat Joe, like it's amazing what they were able to do, and it's something that like one day somebody will do it. One day somebody will have the money to do it, and it's like they're gonna ruin it, and I'm gonna be pissed,
No, you
because
don't have
because
you won't have to worry about that because it's never going to be done.
it's never gonna
Um,
happen.
it was definitely a different time.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, Smash Brothers and Ultimate, Smash Brothers Ultimate, just the licensing hell that was Sora, just to get Sora in the game. It took forever. That's why he's literally the last character. He was one of the first ones they wanted to put in the game
Hmm.
before Smash Ultimate. He was the last character added. That's how long it took because it's in licensing hell. Different companies had different assets for it and whatnot. This game in Def Jam will never be made again. It's literally the adult version of Super Smash. Um, like
You
Random
could low
said,
key kill people in that game with some of the stuff you could do.
low key, you were killing people. Literally, you were slamming people into the concrete face first. You were stomping people on car rims. The game had so much content to where music wise you were getting literal tracks, no royalties, nothing, no, all the record labels licensed it over, which that is definitely not going to happen again.
Mhm.
uh you had all the customizable stuff to where you could change your character's tattoos, clothing, fighting moves, everything. Every character was individual. It was so good, bro. It was such it was such a it's such a great game. Like, it's not something that is technically heavy. It was just something that you could just dive into and just have a
Mhm.
great time. And low key, Carmen Electra is the which is crazy. She is literally the best character in the game, the fastest character. She's tournament banned in when they do Def Jam tournaments because she's
I was just
legit
about to say they still do tournaments of this to this day.
to this day.
Like,
They
that's so
still do.
crazy. Yeah.
Story is hilarious. Snoop Dogg being an antagonist while being like what 90 pounds is funny,
Mhm.
but
By the way, it took me forever to learn how to finally beat him when you finally get his ass, you finally get your girl back, and I fought him for, like, an hour because I didn't know I had to throw him out the window, which,
I
by the
was just
way, you kill Snoop Dogg at the end. You definitely
hmm
kill him. He falls, like,
yeah.
4 stories on his back. He's dead. Oh my god.
It's,
What a
it's fantastic. It's literally a game that you can pick up at any time and just have fun. It's single
don't
player,
I'll say this.
multiplayer, everything.
I'll say this. Don't ever lose to Ice-T because he has one of the best victory quotes. He's like, "You're nothing but a punk. Your daddy's a punk, and your
And
mama's
your
a
mama's a
bitch."
bitch.
And then it just cuts. And I'm like,
And you gotta hold that.
fucking, you gotta hold it. Like, Ice-T's look in the game is so clean too, bro. Like it's literally like Santo. It's one of the more unique games I've ever played. Like, it's just unique in terms of the premise, like everything that had to come together to make it, and like people. It's like, I know it sounds, but if you weren't there, you didn't really feel it, man.
You didn't understand, no,
Like,
especially if you were a fan of hip hop, and the fact that
mhm,
you were actually able to play with these characters, and not just that, everybody voiced over their character.
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
just think about that. Like, everybody showed up and voiced over their own character. That doesn't happen.
So yeah, when you were fighting Sean Paul, you had no idea what he was saying, just like the rest of us. But you better beat his ass because he can kind of move, bro. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah,
Ugh, what
it's such
Santo?
a good game.
What a
Such a good game.
game, man. It's
Yeah,
a shame.
you had to be there. Like I said, pick it up. It's a one of one. I mean, it's probably going to be expensive now because I mean, it is hard to find,
There,
but if you can get it,
so I have a couple copies, and I think the last time I saw it, they were going for like $70, but they were
dang.
used. They were used copies. So I'm
Oh,
just like,
used.
mhm, used copies. I got two brand new copies from like a store. One of them was in Iowa, and the other one's in Idaho, and they sent them to my house over here. So I just have two
Crazy.
copies of them. Hmm.
Well,
What a game that was.
It was fantastic. My next game
Mhm.
is, to me, oh, L spelling on Ultimate. My bad. So I have I have hey.
Now, go ahead and cook, Santo.
We'll edit it in post.
Hmm.
um, Ultimate Street Fighter 4 is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. This game came out in a time where the FGC was dead. It was
Hmm.
literally dead. Street Fighter Third Strike was great. It was fantastic. It's literally a masterpiece,
Hmm.
but it was a little old. at that point. Marvel versus Capcom 2 was losing steam. Um, e- Everything was kind of like the golden age of Capcom for having a chokehold on the fighting game community or industry. If let me correct that, on the industry was dwindling. And then they released Street Fighter 4 and the FGC was back. I put Ultimate Street Fighter 4 because of course there was the original Street Fighter 4, then Super Street Fighter 4, then Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, and then Ultimate Street Fighter 4. This game brought back fighting game tournaments. This game brought back people to watch Evo. This game had Evo in a chokehold, pretty much the best fighting game tournament out there, and it's so good. It's so good. It's Ryu, it's Ken, it's Blanca. Everybody's back. Sagat, and they just went with a very muscular approach. Like everybody, it's a heavy fighting game. Like everybody's like heavy set characters, and it's just great. Music is fantastic. Mechanics, it hasn't aged well because they're going with a very combo heavy style of gameplay with the introduction of Street Fighter 5 and 6. Um,
Hmm.
I call it that they're going with the King of Fighters approach. That now you're hitting people with 23 hit combos and stuff like that. Street Fighter 4, it's more of a neutral footsie based game. Yes, you do get some combos, but they're not as elaborate as drive rush, cancel, counter parry. Like that wasn't really Street Fighter 4, so people say it doesn't age well. But this game is one of my favorite fighting games because of the fact that I was a fighting game lover. I loved all the Mortal Kombats, this point King of Fighters, Guilty Gear, all of it. And during this time, there was nothing to like, no FGC tournaments to watch. And then this game came out, and we have people like Infiltration, Tokido, Daigo, Alex Valle, and they became staples in the FGC house, even though they've been around, but now they're getting more mainstream attraction to where Capcom brings out Capcom Cup, and now they're shelling out like major bread for people to come to these tournaments, and prize money is insane. And
Hmm.
yeah, Ultimate Street Fighter 4, I love it, bro.
I mean, so I've never like how you are, and you'll see on my next game. When you made the decision, the decision at one point was Tekken or Street Fighter, and I went Tekken. And
Okay.
look, I got massive respect for Street Fighter. I played the the one other one on your list, Capcom versus SNK 2, because I mean, God, those games were heat, man. Just let me get Magneto with some Ryu, and I don't even care who my third is. I'm whipping your ass. Like I'm just whipping your. And it was, and I loved those games. But I got massive respect for Street Fighter. I still do. I still don't understand how Goken came back from after. Uh,
It doesn't make any sense.
what's the name? Does Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But it's respect because at that point I'm not into the FGC like you are, but I know that whenever I hear anybody talk about it, they talk about Street Fighter 4 with a lot of reverence, like the same way you and I spent what an hour 45 mainly talking about, if you really want to be honest, seven. The way we talk about Dynasty, like we're talking about it with such reverence, like they always talk about it like that. So there's always massive respect for Street Fighter 4. We're just like there's another universe where me and you were waxing poetic because I actually played it. But I know it's a good game.
Talk to me about Tekken 4.
I mean, First things first. Of like, I think Tekken 4 was the best Tekken until 7. That's what
Really?
I think. Until 7,
Three or five?
I didn't like 5.
Wow. You do know that. And this I will say, random, when I saw this, this
Mhm.
is by you on your list. This is a hot take. Putting Tekken
I
4. Tekken 4 is literally regarded as bottom three Tekken.
This is influential. But now, now,
No,
now,
I got you. I got you. So I was
yeah. So now,
I'm just
if
curious.
I love Tekken 4. I don't care what nobody says. Tekken 4 is amazing. From the little Tekken Force thing you can go on, like it's
Mhm.
amazing. Like obviously you have I mean Hwarang's my dude, man. Hwarang's my dude. And I was worried when in 7 he had an eye patch. I'm like, hold up, what happened to him? Like, what the fuck? Turns out that he had to fight the devil gene off. But I just love his look. Like his look now, his Tekken 3 gi is my favorite, but they got the
So-
gi in 4, so I'm not gonna hate.
mhm.
But I 4 is just like it's like the first fighting game where I was like, "Oh yeah, like this." Like every now and then, I'm always gonna peek back in here, and like every time a new Titan come out, that's the only game I play. Like that's the only fighting game that I play.
Mhm.
And Tekken, even now Tekken 8, I'm so close to. It's not. I'm pretty sure I was in the Blu-ray. I think it's the red, whatever the one where like, oh, I can start playing with like the guys who stream. I'm pretty close to that.
Okay.
And I love Tekken to this day. Like the rivalry between Hwarang and Jin, that's where it was really cemented. Because after you do the Hwarang storyline, you're like, fuck all
Mhm.
that, Jin, come over here, let's get these hands, bro. And I love Hwarang. It's kind of crazy because especially in Age Showcase now, you don't really see a lot of Harangs. But I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, man, my guy just kicks, and we got a guy who teleports and has guns. One's a fucking devil, the other one can transform into a devil, bears, whatever. My guy just kind of kicks, and I loved everything from the storyline, like the Tekken 4 opening
It's great.
where the Tekken Corp is infiltrating the G Corporation, and then Kazuya
Mhm.
pulls up, and he's not just like he's doing moves. He's doing moves that he does in the game. Like he's doing moves that he does in the game, and it's so good. And then the Tekken Force thing where you can pick any random character and you fight through a little. It's it's obviously it's very scripted, but you basically fight through this little quick story mode, and it ends up with depending on the chance no, you end up fighting both. You fight Jin, you can also fight Devil Jin, and then you also fight Kazi at the end of the game. And I'm like, all right, bro, like I need to find a chicken immediately. I'm about to die.
Mhm.
But it's
Yep.
I know people look, obviously this is just me being biased, but I love Tekken 4. I love it to
I mean,
death.
Tekken 4 was cool. I mean, aside from little not little, because in fighting games there's the game mechanics and how the game works is very crucial because that's all it has pretty much. But I will say, I mean, you like how Rang, and yeah, guy who kicks. I mean, Steve Fox being introduced in 4, guy who punches. That I
Mhm.
was like, my God, like let me play this boxer, and I grab him, and the two kick buttons are like swaying and stuff. I'm like, okay, let me cook,
A good
bro.
Steve will always give me problems in online play. A good Steve, because if he knows how to dodge effectively, like the fact that he can dodge back, bro, and you can miss like a whole uppercut or a kick because you dodge back and you just finally set him up.
Listen,
Steve,
l-
Steve is a great inclusion.
listen. I remember up to this day. I remember, and the guy that I did it on, I tell him like maybe once a year. You remember that time that you went forward circle button with Horang,
Mhm.
and he does that little thrust push kick?
Thrust, and he turns his back.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
no, you
so
ducked it.
I ducked it, and I did the Epo punch. Hawk,
Yeah,
Hawk was his he
the
like,
Dempsey when he comes up.
oh man, it was glorious, bro. He had to hold that pop off. Like Steve was my guy. I mean, I think Marduk was also introduced in the game, and I also think
Yes.
Christy was introduced because I don't
Chris
think Eddie
He
was
just
in
took
the game.
over. I think you have to beat Eddie's. You have to beat Chrissy's story, then you can play as Eddie.
Oh, okay,
See, I
okay.
I didn't mind her. Like I was a little annoyed because I'm like I want to play as Eddie, but I mean, why not? I mean, she grew on me.
Hmm.
I think Lee or Violet is very well done in this game, and a
Hmm.
guy who they just dropped him off was Inspector Lee. He was basically just Jackie Chan. They
Yeah.
just he just doesn't show up anymore. And I'm like, what happened? Because there has a lot of this. Every fighting game does it, but Tekken doesn't hide it. Like martial law is Bruce Lee. Martial law is Bruce Lee without a doubt.
Hmm.
And they do Inspector Lee's Jackie Chan, like from the drunken master pose to all the other different pose. Like he's a very intricate character. Like obviously King, I think this is one of the last ones. I think in 5 he dies and then New King takes
Yeah.
his place.
Hmm.
So then obviously Armor King, the thing with Murdoch where like he almost killed him in that hospital room, man. He almost
Oh
fucking
yeah.
did. And the fact now that they're great friends, man. Like he had him in a hospital, Lily's in one hand up in the other one, Murdoch's fucking cooked. And I'm holding my breath too. I'm like, is he gonna fucking like Tekken's like where in Street Fighter that's never gonna happen unless it's one person, right? In Tekken, I'm like, yeah, you can see multiple characters doing this. Obviously, there's the
Hmm.
Nina and Anna little
Yeah.
fucking
It's,
rivalry that they have, which really is just like Anna, just stop hating and live your own life. Like, just live your own life. She just hate all the time on Nina.
I mean,
All the
yeah.
time. That's
That that's her character. That's who she is, bro.
bro, she's petty. Like, oh, Nina went into hibernation. Send me into hibernation so I can wake up when she wakes up, so I can make her life hell. Nina, oh Anna, you finally have a chance to live your own life. Go be with Kazuya. Go be with Kazuya and just do whatever you want. But no, we hate that much. I got to go into suspended animation too, just so I can be ready when she wakes up. But I love Tekken 4. Combat.
Oh,
Combat was cool. Kuma was cool.
yeah. The reason, I think I read somewhere, and I don't know if I'm, but I remember reading that the reason why Ins, Inspector Lee or Lay is, it's either Lee or Lay, how you say it.
It
I'm
might
not
be.
sure.
I think it might be Lei. Lei because it's Lei Wulong. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why he stopped appearing in games is because literally he was the least played character because he was the hardest character to play because of all the different stances and his flowcharts.
S- Okay. So you're gonna take. So you're gonna remove Inspector Lei, but fucking add Victor into the game. He has a
Victor
gun.
is,
He can teleport. Like, come
yeah.
on, bro. Victor sucks. I fucking don't like Victor. I really don't.
Victor does not suck. He's literally John Wick. He's cybernetic John Wick.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I mean, the one that
Y-
I wish they would bring
y-
back was Bruce.
That's true.
Bruce has
I'm
never
sad.
returned.
That's true. I also loved Huarang's master, but he technically dies in 3.
um,
But they always bring him
that,
back for the Tekken Tag ones, but
yeah.
Ogre kills him.
Hmm.
So, and I'm
Yeah,
like, Ogre straight
he's a stick.
steals his fucking move. The lower A, where you do that
Oh
little 3
yeah.
sweep kicks. He fucking
Hmm.
stole that. He just
Yeah.
steals that from Bayek. And I'm like, hey, bro, like Huarang, it's on site. But also, I got a couple questions for you. How did you feel about Huarang in 6 being able to resist the Devil Gene on his own? He's the only one, I believe, that
I've
doesn't
never.
resist it.
I feel like this is what I think. I think that they were trying to go with an approach where Jin and Harang are the main characters, and they completely just skipped all of that. and they just focused on Jin, on Kazuya, and Heihachi. I think that was setting up for Hwoarang to be a main character in the story, and they just
Mhm.
deviated from it completely. I was for it because I mean Hwoarang in from part 3, like he was really getting introduced to being like one of the faces of, I mean he kind of is a face on 3, but going forward he just
Mhm.
kind of got left. Like people understood that Jin is the guy to follow. They just went, I mean, I don't know how else to say, they went balls deep into Jin being the main character. The
I think it's played out.
Mashima. I mean that at this point it is what it is. Like everything, like Heihachi's dead. He's not gonna return. He's never gonna return.
No, he's
Hey,
back. He's back.
surprise. He's
He's
surprise.
back.
Harada lied.
Yeah, he's
Because in
back. And I
seven,
and I
because
and
in seven,
I
he
wasn't
said it. He's like
surprised.
he's never coming back. I'm
I
like,
wasn't I wasn't surprised when he came back. I'm just surprised at the speed that they brought him back. You could have fucking waited. You could have waited and brought back Lay and we would have been fine. Like even the lady that they introduced in the next in the character pack before Heihachi, I was like, I mean, she's cool, but like if long inputs are the problem, these people have different stances now and they're doing this and that. Like even the last girl, like I don't think that's an excuse anymore. Just bring him back. Like bring him back, bring Bruce back, bring Marduk back. What happened to Marduk? He just disappeared too.
he's probably coming later. But yeah,
I'm
Tekken
surprised
4.
that they're not gonna bring that giant Muay Thai guy they introduced in the cutscene or in the
Uh,
DLC from Tekken 7. He was massive, but like
he was broken.
that's a shame. Now I'm bummed out about Lay. I understand his
well,
inputs were hard, but like he was so much fun to use for me.
well, I mean,
Well,
but yeah, that's Tekken 4. So I'm just gonna talk quick about this game. I don't know if you've played it. It's Hades. It's a roguelite.
I've heard about it. I've never played it.
I play a lot of this would be considered an indie game. It's made
Hmm.
by Supergiant. They Hades. Roguelite. Story of Zagreus and him pretty much trying to get out of hell, because he's just trapped there by Hades.
Hmm.
The story goes in into it's a lot. Persephone's his mom, and he can't survive outside of hell. So it has a lot of family dynamics. Art style is peak. It's legit peak. If
Hmm.
you're into Greek mythology, great game. Um, I love the fact that different gods give you different boons, power ups. You have different weapons. The game has comedy in it, serious tones, everything. I love the fact when this game was, it was different. I've never experienced a game like this. There's no tutorial, nothing. The game is meant for you to lose multiple times and you're just learning on the fly. It doesn't tell you what to do, how to play, nothing. You just turn the game on and you're in the game instantly and you just follow the story from there. This game, just know that you are going to die multiple times. That's fine. That is part of a roguelike game. You're gonna follow the same dungeons. It's very, the replayability of this game is fantastic. I still haven't 100% it. I put over 100 hours into a game. The game's great. The game's fantastic.
Hmm.
I don't know if
I've heard
you're
nothing
in.
but
Oh,
no.
go ahead.
I mean I've tried a few roguelikes. What's the one I'm playing right now, or the one I was playing? It I can't remember. It's like it's like something to Deadfire. Like I played the first one, I beat that one, but I was starting to play the second one then. life
Hmm.
goes on. Like, but from everything I've heard, Hades is a fantastic game. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass, so I have like no reason to not play it. But
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool. Not too many people talk about roguelikes like that. So that's pretty awesome.
yeah, it was even nominated for Game of the Year. Like God of War was like this, and God of War was in the same sentence for Game of the Year, and it's an
Okay,
indie game.
I should write that down. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is it time?
So Assassin's Creed 2. Go for it.
You want to talk about something that cemented a freaking game series. Assassin's Creed 2 was that. Like, there's a reason why they milked Ezio Auditore for as much as they could before they finally had to let him go. Like, you want to talk about like anybody who ever remembers playing the first Assassin's Creed, Altair couldn't swim. Like, if you
Hmm.
swim, it's automatic game over. He wasn't as agile. Like, obviously, he wasn't as agile, and he was way cockier than like the story. Like Altair was just a cocky asshole, and then he gets knocked down. Ezio, from the moment you see him, man, he's just charismatic, man.
Aura.
He gets, bro, he gets bitches, man. He gets bitches all the time, bro. Like, and it all kind of starts off the same way where he loses his dad, who was an assassin, and his. I
Hmm.
feel bad for like his youngest brother, man. His youngest brother just want to collect some feathers. He was sick all the time. Like, he just never
Hmm.
really left the house. And like his mom is really affected from it because they see it, and then you got to collect all the feathers so that she starts coming back. It's like a really cool thing that they add. But I mean, from Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, it's like the game's just different. Like the world is massive floor. Like, I was like, how you talked about, like, when you leave Midgar, you're like, you just have all this stuff to do. It's like when you
Hmm.
leave Florence, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh my god, and then even the resource management with the Monteriggioni was cool as you're trying to get Altair's armor, which I that low key might be the best armor Assassin's Creed's ever made. That
Cook.
Assassin's Creed 2 armor, like, it's so, like, you're a god once you put that thing on. But everything that you go through to go get it, like, that's why you're like, I'm never letting this go. Like, the villains were cool, and like, it's just like, even the gun, man, when you finally get to use the gun, like, Leonardo da Vinci's cool. The fact that Leonardo's like, hey man, you want to make it over there in time? You gonna take this fucking Temu parachute and hit fires over Venice, and you're gonna fucking make it to stop the villain. Like that mission sucked. But it's like they tried so many things, and most of it most of it really worked. The problem was, I think they were too successful with this game. And hear me out, because
Okay.
after the auditory trilogy was over, like, they were cooked, man. Like there was nowhere, like, I like Brotherhood, but Brotherhood really was like, it's just the same thing, except this time you can recruit people, right?
Hmm.
Now, Revelations was like, of the spin-offs that Ezio got, Revelations was the one. The hook blade, he's in Constantinople, he still got the Riz going, bro. Like, and once they got to 3, which I like 3,
I
but
love
3
3.
was lambasted. 3 was lambasted at the time because it's what followed.
Hmm.
And it's like, y'all talking about it like y'all talked about Assassin's Creed Unity, but 2 was everything, man. 2 was amazing.
I
Like, from
think
the
the issue.
different
I don't think. Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. You go.
No, I was just like, from the missions to like the love interest to even the DLCs were amazing. Like, I think it only had one,
I
and
had
that was
one.
when you went back to Forley. You went back to Forley and helped with a problem there. But like they put a lot of love and effort into this, and unfortunately, until, well, after 3 was Black Flag, or was it 3 Unity then
It's,
Black Flag?
I'll check, but I want to say it's Black Flag then Unity.
Because I think they've always kind of been trying to chase this since whatever this is that the Ezio auditory saga had. They've always been kind of trying to chase it to the point they've wholeheartedly changed Assassin's Creed as we know it. And I was excited for Shadows, but Shadows is cooked. So we're playing Ghosts of Tsushima 2 because I mean, Jesus Christ, what a surprise! But like Assassin's Creed 2 was like damn near the climax of what Assassin's Creed could be, man, because everybody was playing that game. Like everybody was.
Hmm. So the
What
order
a great
was black three, Black Flag, Rogue, then Unity.
game. Okay.
So I think, by the way, yes, I feel like they have been trying to capture it's literally what Final Fantasy 7 is to Final
Mhm.
Fantasy. They should have just left those three alone. Like don't try to follow it, whatnot. I think what ended up I don't want to say kill um Assassin's Creed is Desmond. The story, like the story within the story, it kind of
I didn't know what to do with
falls
them
flat.
though.
They have no idea. I think in the beginning with Altair, like I think they were working hand in hand. After Ezio, it
Mhm.
just falls apart completely.
I thought they had something in the first two games, right? Assassin's Creed 2 ends with like Desmond is doing all of Ezio's moves as we're beating up these dudes in the parking lot, right? And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, that makes sense. Brotherhood was them trying to get somewhere safe, right? That was the plan in the future,
Yes.
which
Hmm.
is okay. Brotherhood was more of a spin-off than he was like a full game. Then Revelation, they start telling us about how he grew up. And then for them to just kind of kill the girl at the end of Revelations really sucked because I'm like, oh, there goes his love interest. And then the way that he died was such bullshit in 3. So, because if you're gonna do that, pay it off, and they haven't done anything since. Except you technically know Desmond's he's still dead, but he's back in the story because the main girl from the new series of games is helping him with another disaster, trying to prevent another disaster. And I'm like, it just kind of
It,
sucks, man. It's
yeah.
cooked. Once it became a full
Yeah.
action, like that Ubisoft way that they make RPGs now. Like I liked Odyssey for what it was, but like I think of all the new ones, I think Origins might be the best. It's that's the one I remember having the most fun playing because it was so new, you know. But
I
now, I
played
mean,
I
Valhalla's
played
good.
I've played all of Ezio's campaign, three and
Mm,
half of Black Flag. After that, I've said, you know what, y'all got it.
You need to finish Black Flag, by the way. People say
I'm
that might be
probably
the best one besides that and two.
like I literally have them on my bookshelf, and it's I'm good, bro. I'm
Mm.
good.
Now, I mean, there were times they try to be like Call of Duty and make yearly Assassin's Creed games, and they finally understood that wasn't going to work.
Mm-mm.
But it's a shame because we've been asking for ninjas in Assassin's Creed forever, and we finally got it. And it turns out they fucked it up, and I'm really disappointed because if I was telling you that like we were going to have 3 4 years or 3 or 4 straight games of just peak like great, because I think people go back and look fondly on 3 now of like just really good stuff because the running on the
Mm-hmm.
trees. But Assassin's Creed was always going to be haunted the closer and closer they get to more modern times, because I do know
Yeah.
there was a plan for 3 to be more modern than what it ended up being, or for Desmond to get his own modern game, because I liked what they were building. Maybe at some point, like he's leading a modern cell or something like that, and they're trying to take down the Templars that way. And that could have been great. The problem is then you just turn that into a third person shooter because why would you need to carry a blade or anything like that? But I think they could have figured something out. They just gave up on it too early and they tossed Desmond away, and they've been paying for it ever since.
I think they should have never had anything with Desmond. I think they should have done it like American Horror Story. Every game it's its own thing.
Like how Final
They
Fantasy does it.
pretty much every story, it's its own thing. Yes, you can have your Ezios, um, Brotherhood, and Revelations if it does pop off like that, but have it be based on the assassins, like the future and all that stuff. Like, nah, you're trying too much. But that's
Well,
just my
I
take.
think what no, I agree. I think what they should have done is just finish off Desmond's story in 3, make it very stereotypical. Just make it just make it cheesy, whatever. But in 4, remember, you're like an employee working for Abstergo, and you seeing all these different like projects that you have to work on. And I'm like, that's
Hmm.
it. This is it. This is your premise right here from now on. You finish that project, and then maybe they're like, "Hey, thank you so much for working on it, and we're still working on your new project, but here's a sample." And they show us like some concept art or like a little quick trailer that they made for like Unity. I think that would be awesome. Where you're just like, yeah, you're just this
True.
employee working for a future media empire that just keeps making games. That's all you keep doing. You don't have to change it up that much. I mean, Bowser's been pulling up to Mario's crib for like 40 years taking Peach away. Like, we're fine.
Yeah,
I I just think they overshot themselves. Like they should have finished Desmond's story since you committed to it so hard in 2, right? Then you finish it off in 3, then you just do the yeah, and then from then on you'll see like cameos, like maybe you'll see Desmond in the office walking around or Sean or whatever. But I think they overcomplicated it and now it's cooked. It's been well past cooked. They should just not even show it all together.
I agree.
It's
But
so
yeah,
cooked.
S
Mhm.
but yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 was good. It was great. So on to the next one, and this one I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet because I saw how much time we've been here so far. It's gonna be a long ass video.
Oh, dang, my bad.
Uh,
Oh, I'm
no,
so
you're no,
sorry.
you're no, you're good. You're good. That's I mean that's the point. These are all long form videos, so I mean
Mhm.
it's going on the membership side. Um, if you're still here, like and comment. Mm, we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
so my favorite fighting game of all time, right here, Capcom versus SNK. I
Mm.
mean, this game just you had pretty much your X-Men versus Street Fighter. You had your Marvel versus Capcoms. And
Mhm.
those games are more fast paced. I sometimes at when this game came out, it showed me that I have a favorite style of fighting game,
Mhm.
and it's a slower paced game. And the fact that I could get King of Fighters characters that I could pick, like Kyo, Iori, um, King, Vice, characters from Samurai Showdown, mixed with um, characters from Fatal Fury and Street Fighter, like I was sold a ticket instantly. This game
Mhm.
took part one is great as well, but the one
Mhm.
thing that part one didn't do very well was the game modes because characters were locked on a ratio system. So if you wanted to play, let's say, if me and you are playing a round, and
Mhm.
I wanted to pick characters had power levels, so you have a maximum of four, pretty much. Some characters are worth 1 point, some characters are worth two, some are worth three, and some are worth four. So if I wanted to
Mhm.
play Geese, that's 3 points right there. So I had to go down to the number every character that had number ones. That was like Sakura, Dalsim,
Mhm.
Blanca, Benimaru, and stuff like that. And those were the only characters you could pick in Capcom versus SNK 2. they removed that completely. So
Mhm.
you could pick 2-on-2, 3-on-3, one on ones, and they also introduced grooves, which different grooves gave you different mechanics. Um, Parry groove, you had a K groove that you get special bar the more you get hit. S groove, you can actually charge your special. C groove is your typical Capcom groove where the more specials you do, the more super special meter you get. Like the game was just great. What I really enjoyed regarding art style in this game was the fact
Mhm.
that Capcom made the art for the SNK characters, and the SNK company did the art for the Capcom characters. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
it was legit. Like it was dope. Like this is when the two companies were in very, very, very good place where, they were talking like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. Again, licensing and all that stuff got in the way of different things. That's why we haven't seen a Capcom versus SNK 3, but there is hope because now we're seeing guest characters. I remember telling you guys in the Discord, you guys have
Mhm.
no idea how important it is that Terry is in a Street Fighter game because that's
Mhm.
never happened. Like Street Fighter has never gotten a guest character outside of its verse. And now with Ken and Chung Li being in Mark of the Wolves and Terry being in Capcom, I mean, Terry being now in Street Fighter, this
Mhm.
could potentially lead the way for a Capcom versus SNK 3, which would literally blow everything out of the water. So
Okay,
yeah,
I'm excited. Yeah.
I am too. So this is my favorite fighting game of all time. If you haven't played it, grab it, go at a friend's house, and just have a blast. So what I'm gonna do now, I want you
Mhm.
to talk about your last two games. Just go one
All
right after
together.
the other. Yeah, one right
Okay.
after the other.
All right. Rome Total War was my first PC game.
Okay.
Rome. It's made by Creative Assembly, one of the best strategy video game developers like of all time, and their main thing is just making Rome Total War games. So basically, Rome Total War is you take over one of the three Roman families, and around like it's like 500 something BC, and you just take over the known world, which is basically like Europe and parts of Asia, right? But as you get stronger, your other families are getting stronger, and if you get too strong, the Senate like disavows you, like you're too strong, you're trying to be an emperor or whatever. And like it's a really good game. Like you got to worry about troops, supplies, things like that. And this isn't just one of those like when you bring two armies together, you're in the battle commanding the armies. Like, oh, you got to put my infantry here, my archers here, my cavalry here. Like they can do sieges and things like that. And the really reason I put Rome Total War because I actually play Three Kingdoms Total War a lot more than Rome does, right? Which mainly is the same thing, except you're basically in the Dynasty Warriors era, right? Rome Total, it's like I could turn Rome Total War on today, no mods, no nothing, and it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. Does it show its age a little bit? Absolutely. But without this, I wouldn't have been into like I wouldn't have played. Remember Stronghold Crusader on your
Yes.
PC?
Hmm.
I would never would have played Stronghold Crusader if it wasn't for Rome. Like Stronghold Crusader, Age of Empires. Um, there's so many like PC games that I played at that point. Like I was a PC craze, and if it wasn't for Rome, I never would have played them. Never would have played them at all. And don't forget Stronghold Crusader 2 because they had to make a second one, and the second one is not as good in my opinion. Sometimes I just want to start in the desert next to Oasis and we built two freaking things and we just throw down at one point. But I love like Rome was literally my gateway to PC games, and it's one of the best strategy games of all time, in my opinion. And Kessen 2 is one of the more, maybe the most unique game I've ever played. Like I think about Kessen 2 all the time. Like I don't know if you've ever played it, but it's basically like
Mhm.
Rome Total War, Dynasty Warriors, like mixed with hype, with sometimes a little bit of fantasy, where you're in the Three Kingdoms time. It's a, you think, I know I said in Dynasty Wars 4 like that was bad. Kessen 2 like takes a crap on Eastern, on that time period's history, smears it and then burns it and throws it out with the dog. Like it's horrendous. But some of the, like, the Battle of Cherby in that game is magnificent. Like they literally get the scale like, yeah, it's just you and your boys trying to stop this fucking warlord from taking over China. And um it's so unique. Like I always keep looking for like a game like it where Santo, I we start the match. I don't know if have you ever played it?
I think yeah, I played part one.
Oh, part two is completely different. And part three is completely
Okay.
different from two. So like Kessin, like we'll start off, they'll do the cutscene, introduce the battle, right? Then you go to the war council, you select your war
Mhm.
council, and then you start the battle. Now you and I are controlling obviously different armies. We can meet
Mhm.
and we can clash. Then you can, like in the first one, you could take control of individual generals. In this one, you can. So
Okay.
like you take over Guan Yu. Now the part where I say it's kind of like Dynasty, where it's like you could take Guan Yu and attack people, but it doesn't kill them because they couldn't really figure out a way for me not to be Guan Yu and just do the battle myself. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But you can attack people in a weird way to like help your morale when you get attacked. But the thing that makes Kessen 2 so great is its tactics. So you could be Guan Yu and you do a raid where you, that's where you turn into fucking prime Lu Bu and you charge into the enemy ranks. That's when you can kill them. You have duels, you can do charges. With the strategist like Zhuge has fireballs, lightning storms, cyclones, where he literally just drops a tornado in the middle of the battlefield and you just start taking enemy troops away. Like and it's not just, obviously, if you're fighting like a strategist, they do give regular officers a chance, but they give them a shield that protects them from one of the spells, right? Does like the Nanman are done well. Like Zhurong, if you go to Nanman, Zhurong joins you and she brings a crew of elephants with her. Like it's just so good. Even like the sieges are amazing. Like it's so weird that this game came out, I think, like 2003, and I haven't played a game like it ever since. Like it's
Gotcha.
just, it's when people just made video games to like just try stuff instead of trying to
Mhm.
stick safe, and they want to make $100 million on the game and things like that. Like, is Kessen 2 a good game? Probably not. Probably not. But like it's, what it does is so unique that like I want you to play the game, Santo, and then come back and talk to me and be like, huh, like, it's really cool. Like there's some
Mm,
things it does really well. Like the voice acting is horrendous. The story's
of course.
pretty shit, you know, for early 2000s or 2000s at all, like Koei Tecmo, but it's so good. Like it's so unique that I had to put on the list cuz like I spent a lot of time thinking about that game. I'm like, maybe one day I'll just fucking win the lottery and I'm making myself. I want to remake Kessen 2. Give me all the Dynasty Wars knowledge that I know now, and take you on a big ass battlefield with like, because they have massive amount of enemies on screen too. Like it would freeze your game, like, you know how Dynasty Wars does,
Mhm.
used to. It kind of does the same thing, and it's like a really good tactic could change the tide. So if you're, and Jaho Yuan is like the Lubu of the game because you can't play as Lubu. It's
Oh
weird,
wow.
like it's weird, but like it's, like, I would recommend, like, if I could send you my PlayStation 2 and a copy of the game, I'd send it to you because you just need to play it. Like it's so unique, and I know I've said it all the time, but that's how unique the game is. Like unique. Gongning Dynasty Wars 4 Gongning just pulls up inside of a cutscene. Thought I wouldn't see him, but he
Wow.
just walks into a restaurant, and he's like, I'm like, oh hey, I know that guy, and he just sits down. But it's like there's like sometimes like a little bit of branching paths too. Like the story is very linear, but there are two instances when you're playing for Liu Bei where you can take branching paths. So like, oh, we just took over Chengdu. Now at this moment, Cao Cao's invading you from two different directions, and Nanman are causing trouble behind. Now, which front can you go to? So
Yeah.
if you decide to go Nanman, you just have to trust. Now, I say trust. They're gonna win. They're gonna at least stalemate those other two fronts, but each different battle offers something like that you can bring up. Like, well, if you go to Nanman, you get Zhurong. If you go to Fanzhang, you get one of Liu Zhang's officers joins you. If you go to Mount Dingjun, you go and another officer joins you. Like they're all different. They're all different, like different little branching paths. And when you get two sword warriors, and mainly women in the game use swords, but when you get two of them to do a duel, it's the best thing in the game. They're fucking cooked when they made the because duels are just they're cutscenes, they're mini cutscenes, right?
Okay.
Depending on like troop strength, morale, and one other factor. But like you can like that's how you do. You challenge them to a duel, and then you watch a cutscene, and if you did everything right, you should win, right?
Mhm.
And it was just it's just limited by the technology at the time. Like now, I assume you should be able to fight. Like if I did it, I'm fighting in the fucking duel. Like and it's like
Yeah.
really, it's just so good, man. I go if you can go go play the game. Go just play it because I'd say watch it, but it's going to be a horrendous watch. So find a way to play the game, man. If you still got your
Yeah.
PS2, I'll send you a copy.
It's literally one. It sounds like one of the games that it just more like ahead of its time type thing. It's games that
Yeah.
have great concept, but are extremely limited by the technology of its time.
That was back when Koei was just trying stuff like Dynasty Tactics. Obviously, they were like Extreme Legends. Then they changed Extreme Legends, and then they made Empire. They were just trying stuff, and like a lot of
Mhm.
stuff was working for them. Like Dynasty Tactics makes me sad because that's basically like Dynasty Warriors Fire Emblem. That's basically what it
Okay.
was, and I fucking loved it. And and let me stop because I'm gonna go another tangent. Let's finish this off.
Well, my last two, I'll start with a game that's the most I from what it looks like, it is the most recent game up here. And it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I'm a huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, and they finally brought out a game. They had a mobile game called Duel Links, which I think
Mm-hmm.
came out in '06, '07. And I
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't a big fan because they shortened the field. You could only play like maybe six cards most, maybe seven, I think it was. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just it's like a spin-off type game mechanics and whatnot. And they actually brought a video game to where it mimics literally going to a tournament. And
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoy playing Master Duel because like I said, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I don't have the ability to go out and go to tournaments, go to locals and whatnot. I have kids. I ain't got time. So to
Mm-hmm.
be able to just open this game up and play with cards that I love and great art and music, animations, different slice of life type things that you could just get, like different dual feels, your deck case and all that. It gives me the joy of playing a card game without actually having to leave my house and stuff like that. I will say that it does have a lot of play to win. I mean, pay to win, but
Mm-hmm.
it I think it's fair in how it does if you don't want to pay. The game's completely free. You just have to put in an extra little grind to get to play the meta and move up in rankings. It could be more rewarding, but I still really enjoy the game. It just reminds me of me being a kid and watching the Yu-Gi-Oh series for the first time, which I love.
Mhm.
And the next game that I have, and yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I did put 4 instead of 3. Um, Devil May Cry 4.
Mhm.
It it literally is the Devil May Cry without Dante being the main character. And I played 3. Three's great. Fun fact, 3 um Dante's Awakening
I believe
had
so,
to
yeah.
had to be re-released as a special edition because it was too hard. Literally, the game was too hard for people, so they had to re-release the game as a special edition so people could actually get through the game. The original Devil May Cry 3 was considered too hard for the public audience at first release, so they re-released the game within a year. But going back on 4, 4 was more influential to me because I really enjoyed the story of Nero.
Mhm.
I like his character design. I like the devil arm. I like the Rev sword. I like I like the story that it did, to where he was literally being manipulated and whatnot. Yes, when Virgil comes back, it's great. When Dante comes back, it's great. But Nero sold me. Like, he was such a great addition to just the DMC world, to where he can now, even in DMC 5, he's the main guy and he can actually stand with Dante and Virgil, because I mean
Mhm.
they're the lore, they're OP, they're popular fan favorite characters, and to see this guy just come in and finals, I'm not final, in Devil May Cry 4 and just take the spotlight, and you care about this guy, you care about the love story with Kyrie, and it's just a great game, great mechanics. I love being able to go into a Devil May Cry game and just doing all the different combos and stuff like that. A lot of people didn't like it, but I like how you play the first half and you learn all your combos as Nero, and you're going through and you're progressing and you're leveling up your character and whatnot, and you reach to chapter 10, and then you find Dante and you do the whole game in reverse as Dante, and you don't have any of your skill points, you don't have any of your advanced points or whatnot. So now you're playing the game and you're learning a second character as Dante, pretty much. And then you're going
Mhm.
back, you're getting the different weapons. Of course, Ebony and Ivory are the goats, the two pistols, and you just go through the game and you just. I like when a game does that. It's a different aspect of replayability. You're literally doing just the same game in reverse, but it feels
Mhm.
completely different. And I think it did it well, and I love the game. I think it's one of the best Devil May Cry games out. Um, yes, it's I don't think it's a better game than Devil May Cry 3. I think that is the GOAT. I think second place would be Devil May Cry 5. But this one had the most impact on me because of the story. The story was great, fantastic. I think it's top 2 story in the Devil May Cry verse. I think Nero is a great great new addition as a character. And yeah, that's our list. Now, the one question I asked, like the same thing I asked with Miles, what
Mhm.
would be one honorable mention?
Now, I technically cheated and put two, but
I need one.
it's gonna be Kingdom Hearts. It's gonna be Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts was
Heart.
like God. Kingdom Hearts is. I am so frustrated with Kingdom Hearts because I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? I don't even know what's happening anymore. How did Sora like? I faced Zora, and I'm like, how is he this powerful? Like, is Sora ever gonna master shit? I've only been doing this for fucking 7 games. Like, master this shit. And then now he's in like a whole new universe. Kingdom Hearts 4 looks amazing, and I'm fucking back in. I'm back in. I like from the moment you turn on Kingdom Hearts 1 and just listen to that opener, like the dun, dun,
Mm,
dun, 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 dun. It's like it's just the game tells you you're in for an amazing ride. And Kingdom Hearts 1 was. It was like the story of like love and loss, jealousy, misinformation, like even when I played and it's one of those where like they know it was so good they keep remaking or remaster whatever the fuck they call in this game, and they keep adding things that we wanted you to actually fight Ansem in the PlayStation 2 version of the game, but they took it out and then they added it back in for the 2.6 whatever the fuck they call it. And just seeing that all these ideas that they had, and the gummy shit part always sucks. It even sucks in 3. I don't do it. I just fast travel because I don't want to play bad parts of the game. But Resident Evil was just good. Like they really found a way to mix Final Fantasy and Disney characters together, and in a way that works. And it's also one of the best games. Like it's just like I think I respected the effort so much that that's probably one of the main reasons why I also really like first like single player story games like that. Like I've
okay.
always wondered if I never said Kingdom Hearts, would I really like Assassin's Creed or God of War PS4 if I never played Kingdom Hearts? Like it's good, man. I mean, the most of the series is good. Like most of the main ones you can play on like that you don't that were originally intended for console are pretty good. But now God of War 4, I'm gonna have to watch like 20 hours of YouTube prep to understand what's happening. But it's Kingdom Hearts 1 is is I'm still willing to say it's the best in my opinion of all the ones that
Okay.
we've seen.
Are you like how a lot of people in the Kingdom Hearts community? Are you just in too deep right now that you just got to see it through?
Yeah, I gotta figure it out,
Gotcha.
man. I gotta like I played like Sora dies or whatever at the end of 3, like after, and then I did Remind. R- 3 was like, if you're gonna introduce time travel, figure this shit out before you do it. And they did it, and that's why they made Rebind, and Rebind kind of fixes it. But then I'm like, who's your Zora? How did Sora die? I don't understand why things are. Why did he disappear after he saved the world? And then it turned out, oh, he used this like light power to reverse time, and he wasn't supposed to do that, so he dies because of it. But it's
Mhm.
like Kingdom Hearts, the story is just so captivating because I never played Union Cross or any of the handheld ones except for Chain of Memories. But like I I've learned enough about how the whole story happens, and this is a completely new thing. Like this is a completely new saga. So we're gonna get a lot more games like this. And I'm like, does that mean that now everybody's coming? Because they're all looking for him now, and are they all coming to the whatever this world is? And I'm like, is this where Cloud and Sephiroth went? Because I'm still trying to find that out. You know,
They'll probably
still
pop
trying
up
to find
there.
that out. Yeah, but it's looks
Okay.
the trailer looked very interesting. I'm
Okay.
really
So you
excited for the
have
future of this.
so you have Kingdom Hearts as honorable mention. Mine, I'm gonna take a different approach. I'm going to go with an unorthodox game. Um,
Mhm.
the 900 Christ Air. Let me find videotapes. Let me find Skate. It is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Hey, that's the only pro skater you should pick. Pro Skater
Tony
2 was
Hawk
heat.
Pro Skater 2. When you talk about the oh God, the exports days of my childhood, watching
Mhm.
Tony Hawk, watching Bucky Lassick, Bob Burnquist, Bam, from
Mhm.
Jackass, like
Mhm.
seeing these guys skate. I was watching them literally on TV, just watching them skate. I'm like, that'd be great. And then the games come out. It's so much fun. It's literally just a game that you go and just have fun. You can pull it out to like right now and just have a great time. Music soundtrack is fantastic. I'm so glad that when they remade it, they brought the original soundtrack back because that's one of the best game soundtracks of all time.
Mhm.
It's just such a solid, fun game. It's brain dead. You don't have to think too much. No, you got 2.5 minutes. Go do all of these missions, and if you don't, replay it again. Try to get as much points. d- Go on a ramp. Do a 900 manual. Go on a grind for like 30 seconds. Manual kickflip. Manual, um
Mhm.
just nose grab manual, Christ Air manual. You got your special, like, just get as much points as you want. It's just a good time. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, that's my honorable mention. And what that being said, I just want to tell you guys thank you for joining us for the second installment of Talking Top Tens. I want to thank Random. Quick question before we go. Did
Mhm.
you enjoy it? Did you like this? Did you
No,
like this
this
format?
was no, this was fun. This was fun. I'm sorry that I really padded it, but like maybe we should have done top fives for us because like Santa, you and I have after every BSS episode, you and I have like we'll have a conversation longer than everybody else, and we just it's always something different every time. Like eventually, we're gonna have that Dynasty Wars Origins video, and you and I are just gonna argue for
Mhm.
20 minutes
Oh,
about it, and
we're
eventually
gonna
we're gonna be like,
fight.
it don't matter. We're both gonna get it, and we're both gonna just be either okay or really sad with what we get. So, but um we're this was a lot of fun. This was because you saw it. We could talk about Dynasty Wars 3, 4, God Mass Effect 3 all day. We could do it all day, and this was a lot of fun, man. I can't wait to come back again. Hopefully with
Well,
something that doesn't make me pad the time this time.
no, and like I said, this is what it's for. This is for our members of the Bankai tier and higher. We just want to thank you guys because we do know that in our Discord community, our gaming section, a lot of people are very passionate in there, and they've been asking us to do like different types of conversations and stuff. And not everything has to be a debate. Not everybody has to push an agenda. Can we just sometimes just talk about something that we care about and love and whatnot? So I just wanted to take a different approach and just give you guys something that you can enjoy listening to. Put it when you're working out, just press play and just enjoy. So
Yeah, that's why. Oh, so
no, go
one
ahead.
last
No,
thing.
no,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why Tank. I'm working on the Veilguard video because I have thoughts. It's not even about the game part. I have thoughts on the story, and it's like sneak peek, Santo. I don't think the person who wrote the story for Veilguard actually played a Dragon Age game. I think he was just kind of given notes, and they weren't really good notes, and he just kind of or they just kind of wrote the story, and they made some crucial mistakes that are just They're gonna harm the game. If you wanted to make if you wanted to make God of War PS4 for but Dragon Age Edition, you could have done it way better than this. And I'm not a writer, and the fact that I feel this way should tell you something. That's
Got
how
you.
I feel.
Well, we can't wait to see that video, man. And do better.
I
Do
gotta,
better, game studios. Just do better.
it's too
Well,
much about making money now in a way, and not just making a good game. Because when they made Hades, they just wanted to make a good game, and Hades turned out to be fantastic. Like
amazing.
most of the games on my screen, on my side of the screen, technically on both of ours, they just made good games. They weren't trying to make $1 billion. They're just
Mm-hmm.
making good games. If you make good games, people will show up. They'll show
Facts.
up and they'll support.
Well,
That's what's missing
yeah,
in the gaming industry today.
I agree. I agree. Well, with that being said, I just want to again thank you guys for being members of our channel. I just ask you that you just hit a like button one time, drop a comment, tell your friends, tell your moms about us. Hey, moms like anime too. I've been saying that since I joined. So
Yeah, they do.
enjoy. Hey, that's another video too, by the way. Anyways, with with that being said, thank you guys. We appreciate y'all. Keep supporting us because we can't do it without y'all. And I know a lot of people do say that, but we actually mean that. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. So take care. Much love. Peace. See you next time.